Welcome to World Union Academy, Earth's toughest school. Only the elite survived the gauntlet this year. To kick off orientation, they summon Rank 1 swordsman Leonhardt, the golden boy who crushed his exam in seconds. Yeah, he's already swinging like a master. Everyone expects the usual polite speech. But Blondie flips the script. One person here doesn't deserve the uniform. A backdoor student who failed his exam but got in via a VIP loophole called Divine Eye Admission. Picked by a certain thick red-haired teacher? Yeah, it's a cheat code. Blondie demands the mystery guy stand up and surrender his gear. But the academy only uses numbers. Nobody knows who he's roasting. Except Gray himself, our boy's sweating bullets. Teacher Ariel has had enough. She teleports right in front of Leonhardt, asking if he really thinks he's stronger than her pick. Bro freezes, but with the whole academy watching, his ego won't let him fold. He claims first place for a reason, so she drops a bet, same target, hunt or lose. Lose and every Divine Eye student gets expelled while she quits. Win, Blondie becomes her personal errand boy. The target, an ogre general, disaster-level beast commanding hundreds of minions. Even veterans avoid solo fights. He calls it impossible for a student, so she grants a full year. Still too risky, she sweetens it. If no one kills it by the deadline, he wins automatically. He sees it as a free win. He signs it thinking he's secured a guaranteed win. What this idiot does know, Gray already killed an ogre general weeks ago. The bet ended before Blondie spoke. Our boy catches Ariel signaling him to stay quiet. Yes, mommy, I'm locked in. But Blondie's humiliation arc is just loading. In first magic class, the teacher spots Gray looking bored and drags him up to demo the most basic spell, the Ether Bullet. Hearing Gray's the Divine Eye kid, the teacher exposes him and suggests a friendly duel against Leonhardt. The special admit is fuming. The whole class pivots. Blondie stares at Gray like Christmas came early. He finally found the backdoor student to publicly humble. It's a 1v1 with basic spells, so it's supposedly safe. Both charge up. But when they fire, our MC shows true main character energy. Blondie's attack gets completely dwarfed. Everyone just stares at what Gray created. The teacher sprints to raise a barrier and save Blondie's ass. The sphere cracks through it, blows up half the room, rattles the back rows, and launches the top swordsman like a ragdoll. Bro came to bully a newbie and almost became a missing person report. Smoke clears. Teacher admits without the shield, Blondie is dead. Gray is completely lost. He thinks he has zero magic talent. But now the teacher wonders, who is this guy? To understand, we need his past life. Gray used to be a foot soldier. 15 years later, the Liquidator appears out of nowhere and erases a continent. No warning, just gone. Humanity rallies its absolute strongest into one final squad. Bella, a sage matching a whole military division. Jacob, a divine archer dropping dragons solo. Yami, a swordswoman so broken calling her human feels disrespectful. And Gray, support unit. His job, create openings, follow orders, and die first. On final day, he charges thinking victory is here. Beat it, everyone goes free. Then a beam punches his chest. He drops to his knees. Dying isn't the worst part. Hundreds of bodies surround him. People who trained their whole lives, abandoned families, followed legends into war. They still died for nothing. At least the real heroes are fighting. Yami actually reaches the Liquidator and cuts him. First time in history a continent eraser is bleeding. But when he sees his blood, 2 beams of light erase Yami and every remaining legend in seconds. Gray closes his eyes, waiting for death that never comes. Pain fades. His chest wound seals itself. A voice whispers it finally found him. Suddenly, he's transported into an endless cosmos. He thinks he's dead until a horned figure appears, confirming he's alive and fully healed. The twist, when Gray asks if he saved him, the being says he did nothing. Gray healed himself. The entity can't explain it, not even knowing Gray's true limits. But here's the truth. Master that power and he'll dwarf the Liquidator. Still, victory isn't guaranteed. He wants that bastard dead too, so he helps. Then shock hits. The figure pierces Gray's chest again, lending him power before vanishing. Gray wakes mid-battlefield. His sword wraps in dark energy. He assumes it's the entity S, but the being clarifies his power is invisible. That darkness, purely Gray, S. Without hesitation, he leaps at the Liquidator and carves a deep chest wound. The enemy actually steps back, shocked someone's still worth fighting. Gray is thrilled he can finally land hits, pressing forward and realizing he might be stronger than the monster he once feared. The Liquidator warns him not to underestimate him, then fires a brutal strike that cuts Gray in half. Blood sprays everywhere. Certain he won, the enemy turns away, congratulating Gray for forcing his full power. But then, mixed with blood, that strange black energy pours from Gray's lifeless body. until it forms a humanoid shape of pure darkness, straight out of a nightmare. Even the Liquidator can't believe his eyes, instantly raising a massive barrier. He watches the figure revert to Gray but still can't comprehend how something like that could be human. Gray just stares, grabs his sword, and unleashes an attack so heavy it sends a shockwave across the battlefield. The real twist: seconds later, the shield shatters completely as the blade pierces straight into the enemy's chest. Blood sprays, the Liquidator S still glitching out, asking if Gray's even human. Gray just shrugs, wondering the same. The gap's closing fast, and this is merely the tutorial phase. Enemy thinks he can just respawn grind Gray into dust? Wrong. Gray drops the first hit deeper than before. Liquidator's screaming, but then his spatial control ability activates. Instant blackout. Night swallows them whole. Moonlight cuts through the dark. Time S up, the Liquidator deadpans. Gray isn't here for cheap scares. He lunges for the neck, clinks against an invisible barrier, every inch shielded. The enemy just smirks, voice chillingly calm, pointless. In this zone, you're invincible. Tells Gray to quit wasting breath and look at the stars. Sounds like a glitch until Gray stares up and zones out completely. Trap sprung. That star plummets at Mach speed, detonating in a violent shockwave. Dust settles, giant crater, Gray's gone vaporized. Liquidator smirks, dust don't respawn, big mistake. The debris starts swirling, weaving into a massive magic circle. A familiar voice echoes, might as well use that leftover kinetic energy to send him back. Yep, it's Kronos again. Liquidator's eyes widen, the god's back in the lobby. Kronos ignores the panic, locking onto Gray. Back to the past, he commands, the spell triggers instantly. Liquidator's frozen, powerless. Gray's handed a quest bigger than survival, save the world, blink. He wakes up on a quiet hill outside Renato. His hometown, peaceful, unburned, 15 years in the past, no crater, no blood, just him, the grass, and a second chance he didn't know he needed. Not a hallucination, not a joke. He actually fought the Liquidator solo, actually time traveled. A fresh wound on his arm confirms it. He's back in Velder's era. Just thinking about that bully makes his knees weak. He feels so fragile he almost buys the it was all a dream lie. His only goal, grind stronger to survive. But on the walk home, Velder blocks his path. Been looking for you, he sneers. Velder tosses him a blade, sparring match. Gray knows he's dead serious. Tries to bail, citing injuries, but Velder won't take no for an answer, charging in barehanded. If you won't use steel, take the hits with your flesh. That triggers a memory. A military doc once said his soul was permanently fractured by old trauma. Maybe this is where his loser arc started. If so, maybe he can finally rewrite the script. He starts dodging. Wait, Velder's moves are painfully basic. Slow, Gray realizes it's not that Velder got weaker, it's him. He leveled up. Bystanders drop their jaws as Gray finally grabs his blade. The pieces click, not a dream, actual time travel, no god-tier body, no op powers, just the raw, unfiltered memory of every war he survived. That experience, worth more than any innate talent. One clean swing drops Velder instantly. Gray hesitates, fighting someone this weak feels cheap, but the trauma hits hard. He doesn't just disarm him, he exploits the opening, mirroring exactly how Velder planned to break him. Not a warning shot. A single slash rips across Velder's chest. Blood sprays. Velder freezes, paralyzed by shock. He never saw the counter coming. The tables didn't just turn, they flipped. The crowd stunned too. That blade was supposed to be blunt. If it were sharp, Velder's dead. Gray considers finishing it, then remembers the years of torture. He deserves it. One more strike clears his teeth. You wanted this fight, Gray deadpans. Velder panics, screaming for backup. His crew hesitates but charges anyway. Numbers advantage, right? Gray warns them off. They ignore him. Rookie mistake. They rush him. Next thing you know, all four are on their knees. Pathetic. Gray wonders how he ever feared these NPCs. He needs intel on their training. Turns out they hit Saria's Grima dojo before quitting, thinking they peaked. Sounds sketchy, but it's exactly what he needs. Academy entry requires a master's recommendation. He orders Velder to set up an intro. Velder balks. Gray just smiles, keeps sparring. Velder shuts up instantly. They lead him to the dojo, asking why he's suddenly obsessed. Academy entry, Gray replies flatly. One idiot chirps that he's already op. Gray doesn't buy it. Not even top-tier warriors crack the Liquidator. Comfort is a death sentence. He doesn't know his power ceiling yet, but he knows one thing: his old dark aura wasn't enough. But when he finally gripped it, he felt real power. That grip only worked when mimicking the Grimmy technique. Gray wonders if reaching Kronos' tier would have changed everything. Maybe that's why he was sent back. They arrive at the dojo. Master Saria, sharp-eyed and lethal, personally dismantles the bullies for targeting a civilian, kicks them out instantly. Trash don't belong here. But then she drops to one knee before Gray, honorable as hell, offers a direct academy recommendation as an apology. Academy entry secured, but first a skill check. Saria steps in, genuinely stunned by Gray's charge. His technique is razor-sharp, way too polished for his age. Suddenly Velder's losses make sense. Self-taught, sure, but the foundation is solid gold. It excites her. She wants to keep sparring but decides to end it now. Cranks the intensity. Plans to disarm him with rapid thrusts. Let's see if he can handle the heat. Here's the kicker, even cranking her intensity to max, Gray matches her stride perfectly. Saria pushes harder until she realizes she's running at 100%. This isn't a test anymore, it's a grind just to keep him from overtaking her. Fear finally hits her chest. Then Gray throws a raw, unfiltered strike. Saria barely slips past it. She admits the panic caused the near miss, tells herself she's still in control. But the doubt, it's planted. Her instinct screamed asterisk, now asterisk. She saw the opening locked in to end him. Swing, but her blade shatters midair. Plot twist. Gray realizes it's a leak of his awakened power, just like against the Liquidator. He still has it, but his body betrays him. Knees buckle, tremors wreck his stance. Sustaining that energy is impossible right now. He'll need to play this card way more carefully. He debates telling Zarya, then drops it. She'd never buy it, so he just claims he got carried away. But Zarya isn't dumb. She knows wooden blades don't slice clean through each other without an edge. She saw him notice it too, but respects his silence. Instead, she confirms his raw talent and offers a recommendation to the Royal Fencing Academy, the kingdom's top school. The catch, she's not pushing him there because he's completely mismatched for it. Gray thinks he gets the hint, lacks strength. Long road ahead, but Zarya cuts in, not done yet. The real target is the Academy of Eskrima, not just kingdom best, but world best. Gray knows exactly where that leads. Legendary heroes forged there. It sounds impossible, and it is. Her test proved his sword technique completely outpaces his physique. Like this, he'll fail the exam dead. Gray knows she's spot on. Sure, it's packed with superhumans, but Zarya isn't handing him an out. 9 months left. Tight timeline, but she'll grind with him to make the cut. Warning, he must be ready to suffer. Gray accepts instantly. Turn me into someone else over these months. That's the right answer, she replies. Get ready. Your hell starts now. Cut to 8 brutal months later. The training is ruthless. Pain is guaranteed, but so are the results. His body transforms, muscles pop visibly. Zarya finally admits she's tapped out. He's ready. Gray worries they still have a month to polish flaws, but she insists he hit the exam site early to acclimate. She hands him travel funds. Even with her kindness, leaving a full month early feels off, almost like she's actively pushing him out of the village. She tells him he's overthinking until he drops the rumor about an ogre nest near town. Zarya plays dumb, claims Capitol guards will handle it, but her panicked eyes give her away instantly. Gray sees right through it. He already knows the script, help never comes, the village burns, and she dies fighting the alpha ogre. He drops it, faking acceptance. She smiles in relief, wishes him luck. But peace, that's a lie. Weeks later, she's tracking the forest toward the nest when a voice drops from above. Where you headed? It's Gray, shadowing her silently to stop history repeating. Zarya demands to know what he's doing there. Gray flips it back, question, S for you since you swore Capitol guards would handle this. She claims urgent matters blocked them, so she's taking the threat herself. Confidently, she tells him to chill. Elite boss, 50 grunts, still an easy win for her. Technically, she's right, and Gray knows she can carry that load. But she's missing the point. Ogres win through brains, not brawn. Even without knowing how they broke her in the past timeline, he knows she won't walk out alive. He begs to tag along, claims it's prime experience, asks if she really thinks he'd be dead weight. She laughs it off. Never. She's known for ages that he's actually stronger than her. Monster nests are chaotic traps, way too risky for a rookie, strength or not, but Gray's desperate. He draws his blade, threatens to drop her right there so he can solo the boss. That finally breaks Zarya. She agrees, but with one rule, he must survive even if it means leaving her behind. Gray counters, same promise from you. Deal struck. They step forward, blades ready. They hit the ogre den, only one choke point in or out, flanking is suicide. Gray warns them to stay sharp. The bastards picked a smart spot, but Zarya's already mapping it. Boss is holed up in his tent. They need to thin the herd quietly before he wakes up. Split up, hit hard, use surprise to drop enemy after enemy without alerting the alpha. The ogres snap out of it and counterattack with full force, but the advantage stays theirs. Seconds later, most grunts are down. Amidst the chaos, Zarya admits he's holding his own, asks if this is really his first real battlefield. Gray dodges, warns her to stay sharp, they're just getting started. He doesn't say it out loud, but something feels off. These enemies are way too weak. If they broke her in the past timeline, the tent boss must be broken too. He's right. Eyes lock onto him from inside. Every nerve screams danger. Voltaire yells at Zarya to bolt. She doesn't get the sudden shift. Gray shouts no questions, just run. She sprints for her life, too late. The boss lands beside them. Elite class confirmed. It's practically bowing, thanking them for the visit. But the real plot twist hits when Gray says that's not the boss. A deafening alarm cry echoes. Hundreds answer. A second wave drops in just as strong. That elite grunt isn't the leader, just one soldier among hundreds commanded by something worse. In the distance, an ogre general emerges. They can't solo that. Saria screams they need to break through and run before it gets worse. She lands a clean strike on the first target, but the nightmare hits when it regenerates instantly. Gray explains the general's roar buffs ally strength and healing. They need a new play. Suddenly, he orders her to cover his back. No fancy moves, just buy him time while he deletes that bastard. That's when the real fight begins, to reach the general. They crash into elite ogres. One clash shatters his blade instantly. Confidence glitches out fast. He grabs a backup but knows it's just delaying the inevitable. Saria spots him and tosses her spare midair. Two blades beat one, but this new stick demands precision. Grave shifts tactics, weaving through the fray, forcing every swing to rack up maximum damage. Tactics work briefly, but the horde quickly closes in from all angles. Then the general roars, buffing his minions into a blood-crazed frenzy. They lock onto him like homing missiles. The general clearly read his playbook, but Gray isn't tapping out yet. He pivots to evasion mode, dodging at all costs. Unfortunately, the horde's still one step ahead. The second he tries to slip past, they dive for his back. Tackles, pins, pure exhaustion tactics before the boss. A massive swing forces a block, his blade shatters instantly. He takes the brunt of the hit, down to one sword now. Past life memories flash by. Every experience screams this scenario is a guaranteed loss. He's certain, yelling for Zarya to bolt while he draws their aggro. Big mistake. She'd never bail. He asks if she's really down for a pointless sacrifice. Her reply, worse than expected. It's not that she won't run, she can't. A busted leg locks her in place. Dead end. The irony hits hard. He time-traveled just to face the Liquidator, now completely tapped out. With his last blade gone, defeat looms fast. But he's not tapped out yet. If death is the only option, he'll gamble on that weird power again. Last time nearly killed him. His body's evolved since then, though. He locks onto that activation vibe, shuts his eyes, and goes all in on the next second. Instantly, something snaps awake inside him. In a flash, his blade floods with dark energy. One swing clears the room. Saria's expression glitches into pure confusion. He just smiles, promising everything's about to shift. The hunt begins. The general's shock breaks the skill link. He capitalizes instantly, wiping out his biggest headache. Moments later, they stand over the fallen, including the generals. He apologizes to Saria for her broken sword. She skips the questions. Survival takes priority. Just as she speaks, Gray collapses, completely drained. Meanwhile, the protagonist wakes in a void, pitch black. Only a sealed door remains. Dark energy leaks from the cracks, that familiar power. His logic kicks in, open it, master it. Sounds like a solid deal. He steps forward unconsciously, then gets crushed by murderous pressure that locks him in place. He backs off instantly. Opening it means instant death. Creepily, a voice confirms he made the right call. He jolts awake in the infirmary. Saria's been waiting. To him, seconds passed. Reality, 5 days unconscious. She admits she thought he was gone. Gray just shrugs, saying he pushed his limits slightly too hard. The white-haired girl doubts that covers the insane stuff he just pulled off. Survival's what matters now, so she asks if he can stand. That idea dies instantly. Gray realizes he can't even twitch his right arm. Oddly, that's not the craziest part. A massive black stain spreads under his bandage. Saria misses it completely. His arms are wrecked, but a potion numbed the pain. Suddenly, nothing else matters. Gray knows those potions cost a fortune and is too stunned to speak. She explains it's a gift from the chief for saving everyone. He doesn't get it until the chief walks in, insisting this is just the bare minimum. Gray kept the settlement safe. He claims exaggeration, but the man insists. More than anyone, Gray knows an ogre general isn't something a backwater village could possibly take down. He recalls the original timeline perfectly. Without his intervention, everyone would have died within hours. Now comes the real problem. Between the fights, his unconscious stretch, and the weeks since telling Saria he was leaving, only 2 days remain before the exam. Normally a 3-day trek, but riding out now might still save him. He asks the chief for a horse, promising repayment later. The man already expected it. He prepped the village's best horse early. Saria admits she'd have carried him herself otherwise. With that settled, Gray gears up to leave. The real surprise hits when he opens the clinic door. The entire village is waiting. Signs, cheers, thanks, and a money bag for his fees. He thanks them instantly. The pressure feels heavier than ever, but Saria tells him not to stress. She knows no other applicant can claim they beat an ogre general. His wrecked right arm means he won't shine like usual, but Gray insists his left arm is plenty enough. He won't need that weird power again. The examiners aren't blind. They'll never overlook someone this gifted. No matter what, he's passing. With that promise, Gray sets off. If he can save a doomed village, the future changes. Cut straight to the exam start. The announcer orders candidates to stay in the central arena until it's over. Gray's shocked by the crowd size. Hundreds of applicants when usually only 20 get picked yearly. Some years only one makes it. Ariel steps up as head evaluator. With a single finger snap, she hands out numbered tickets. That's all they need. The academy ignores gender, age, nationality, bloodline, or money. None of that matters here. Talent's the only metric here. Ariel drops that some snuck in under fake names. But Gray gets hit with a plot twist. He left his sword at the inn, yet they still clocked his exact specialty. Reading his mind, she explains courses are assigned by vibe and build. Her gaze, straight up calibrated. Wrong call, raise your hand. Everyone assumes she did deep research first, but 0 hands go up. Next up, tickets reveal evaluation slots. Gray's set for 11 a.m. tomorrow. Bad news, his arm's still screaming for more recovery time. Ariel shuts down excuses, late means disqualified. Cut to the next day. Gray checks his limb. 0 progress, offhand only. He freezes, weighing the odds. 1 spot left. Gray tells himself he's not out yet. Best play, watch the examiner. If this is a real spar against top-tier swordsmen, first impressions are cap. The examiner lets a candidate strike first. Ground-shaking swing, dodged clean. Blade taps the chest. Match over. Candidate keeps swinging anyway. Examiner blocks the massive swing with a half-sized blade. Disarms him in seconds. Exam over. Gray watches, realizing he's sweating. His turn hits. One question, how do you beat someone who flexes like that? Examiner offers first move again. Gray steps up, channeling Ziria's rule. Swords aren't swung by arms alone. They're driven by the whole body. Injured or not, power flows through every muscle. Lands a solid hit. Nowhere near his usual power, but forces a reaction. Gray's eyes widen. The blade looks slow. Not because the examiner's weak, but Zaria's speed makes this look like slow-mo. Confidence spikes. Gray pushes forward with sharp strikes, forcing the examiner back. Zaria was right. He might actually pass, but the grind is real. Fight drags on. Gray cracks the examiner's style, but raw strength still blocks his left arm. Pressure mounts. The examiner's swings get wilder. Gray goes all in with a gamble. He drops his guard for 2 seconds, baiting a clean, wide finisher. The examiner takes the hook, opens himself up completely. Gray slips behind him, thrusts forward. A strike that would have sealed the deal if someone hadn't yelled stop. Gray freezes, confused. The fight was heating up. Another judge calls time. Draw. Gray assumes the worst. Passing means beating the evaluator, not tying. He walks out crushed, telling himself he gave it his all, already bracing for next year's grind. Gray leaves, convinced a healed arm means a W next time. A week passes. Evaluators regroup to compare notes, exhausted from judging one by one and debating every case. Sword course results start rolling in. Clear winners beat the examiner outright. Strategy and endurance count too, but one evaluator draws a hard line. Only those who actually win pass this round. Maybe rare exceptions apply. Sadly, Gray isn't one. No one highlights his run. Dead silence until candidate 513 is asked about. Gray's number, plot twist, Ariel defends him. Claims he's got real potential. Others push back. Says his near win relied on cheap tricks. Technique was solid, but strategy, questionable. Says he lacks strength, spent the test getting overpowered. Useless in their eyes, Ariel just laughs. Watching the crowd, she finds it wild they miss one tiny detail. Cut to tomorrow. 6 names announced for the sword course. Candidates 5, 217, 432, 615, 753, and 925. Gray waits. Silence. That's the final roster. Only those 6 cross the bridge. Enrollment complete. Everyone leaves, except one, picked by the divine eye, candidate 513. Gray's ticket ignites in blue fire, eyes lock on him. Curiosity, awe, jealousy, divine eye picks aren't handed out lightly. Gray has no clue what it means. Whispers call it a backdoor pass for spoiled brats, makes 0 sense. 0 connections, wonders if Saria pulled strings. An elder cuts in. Divine Eye birthed heroes for centuries. Shut up, they fire back, prestige died. Only admits failures like Jacob, Bella, Yami. Gray knows those names well. Weak now, they'll lead the charge against the Liquidator. Point is simple, he's in. Cut to the entrance ceremony. Gray and the Chosen get their docks. Called to the plaza. Empty. Did they miss the memo? An assistant appears. Setup delayed due to a mix-up. They brace for a wait. He tells them to step back. Instantly, dozens of magic circles ignite. Brilliant glow. A coliseum forms before their eyes. Smile. Sit wherever you want. The crowd's jaw dropped. That wasn't standard mana, it was macro teleportation. Even Gray, a veteran of weirdness, calls it Loki unhinged. It just proves the World Union Academy runs on serious clout. But a front row guy spots a glitch. Way too many seats for 30 kids. His buddy drops the lore, this academy pulls top talent globally. So why does that matter? He cranes his neck skyward. Dragons and airships converge simultaneously. The MC's clueless, but our protagonist clocks it instantly. Strata Queen magic carriers, the ultimate flex. They're just shuttle buses for freshmen? Wild. Turns out these seats aren't just for rookies, they're packed with upperclassmen too. Once the crowd settles, the assistant kicks off the ceremony. Spoiler, it's a snooze fest. The director's speech hits so dry, Gray's literally fighting gravity to stay awake. The vibe shifts when they roll out the top tiers. A blonde guy near the MC stands up, Leonhardt Appiah's, peak swordsman. He dismantled the examiner in seconds during exams. Word on the street, his blade work rivals faculty level. Naturally, Gray's hooked. Leonhardt asks to speak freely, gets the green light, and immediately starts roasting the academy. He drops the polite honor script, then straight up claims one person in this room is a total fraud. He locks eyes with Ariel, the Divine Eye, demanding she name the target. She's caught off guard, firing back that everyone passed brutal trials. They earned their spot, FR. Then she calls him out on his nonsense. Leonhardt doubles down, everyone belongs here except the backdoor admit using that fake Divine Eye loophole. He doesn't stop there. He starts screaming for the fraud to step up and surrender his uniform. The target, obviously our MC. Lucky break, admissions were blind, so nobody knows his face. Ariel tries to pivot, but Leonhardt won't drop it. Suddenly, she warps right into his personal space, voice dropping low, asking if he really thinks he's stronger than the rookie. He freezes, then forces composure, obviously. Number 1 rank doesn't lie, that's when the plot thickens. Ariel drops a wager. 2 stakes on the table, the rookie's enrollment and her own teaching contract. MC freezes, he never signed a waiver for this. Leonhardt panics, asking if they're forcing a duel. Ariel shuts it down, if the rookie actually fights back, he'd wipe the floor with him. As a teacher, she's not gambling with lives, the room chills. Leonhardt takes it as shade, but she doubles down, so they'll swap humans for monsters instead. Safer, fairer, she even drops a hint that he's way better at beast slaying than dueling people. We don't get the subtext, but Leonhardt just says bet. Ariel drops the rules. Straight to business, each hunts her named target, rounds escalate in difficulty. Miss a kill, you're out, MC loses, Ariel quits, and all special admits get expelled. Leonhardt loses, he's at her mercy. He agrees but demands intel on the prey to avoid a setup, that's when it gets sus. Ariel pauses, acts like she's calculating, then casually asks how he'd feel about hunting an ogre general. Too specific to be random. MC's running the numbers, wondering if she's hiding cards. Leonhardt calls it out, no freshman solo kills that thing. Ariel shrugs, fine long-term wager, deadline, end of the year, fail and you lose. The blonde still thinks it's a locked tier boss. 1 year of training versus disaster level threat, math doesn't add up. He assumes she's forcing a stalemate by picking an impossible grind. Then Ariel drops one final clause. Tie means he wins, win or lose against the beast, he's safe. MC fails, Ariel quits, special admits get booted. She sounds so locked in that Leonhardt smells a setup. Ariel slides over a fresh magic contract. Sign or walk, the twist. He signs anyway, asking if she actually thinks the rookie can pull this off. She just stares blankly and sits down. Crowd assumes she's gone full retire mode via this insane wager. MC, panicking until he replays her exact words. Does that 1 year deadline include the ogre general? He already took it down weeks ago. His doubt vanishes when Ariel locks eyes with him, flashes a subtle SHHH sign, and silently confirms he already won. Cut to first period magic basics. Teacher kicks off with the foundation. Every human body houses an invisible force called ether. Right circles, right control, infinite possibilities. MC's relieved, most of this is past life review material. His real boss fight, Leonhardt, they're in every same class now. Mission hide his special admit status. Leonhardt hates that, but staying Loki is impossible here. Teacher spots the boredom, drops all filters, and calls him up to demo basic casting live. MC questions why sword majors need mana theory. Teacher drops the classic team synergy line. Sounds familiar from camp, so he guesses they're learning Etha Bullet. He's right. Celebration cut short, though. Teacher spots his knowledge and immediately pairs him with Leonhardt for a duel. Apparently, the blonde was born casting this. MC asks if pitting a rookie against a veteran is actually smart. Leonhardt's pride is bruised, but the teacher shrugs it off. Non-lethal spell plus MC's a divine, I admit, hardly a noob. Head snapped toward him. The old man definitely set this up. Leonhardt's glare could melt steel, ready to humble him fast. Gray, not his best day. He steps into range, locking eyes with the blonde, knowing one missed block means hospital time. Seeing Leonhardt go full throttle, MC matches the energy. He condenses mana into a massive sphere. Both freeze, staring at it. Yeah, that's not a training drill. Leonhardt's too scared to even bolt. Teacher steps in, casting a stop barrier before things get messy, or so he thought. Gray's output shatters the barrier instantly. The resulting shockwave rips through the back rows and launches Leonhardt several meters back. Good news, everyone lives, but the teacher's sweating. He admits the blonde be toast without his dampening. His real shock, never seen an Etha Bullet this massive. He turns to Gray, demanding answers. Our boy's just as lost, didn't tap that old energy on purpose. Academy drills versus war tactics, totally different specs. Teacher confirms it's pure Etha, just super compressed. High-tier compression, no cap. Naturally, Zero Room knows the drill. Teacher drops that even professors choke on this power level. He's nowhere near it. Students immediately connect the dots. Divine Eye admission, Gray's skeptical. He remembers war drills nailing this exact spell, says anyone could pull it off with proper grind. Teachers are just weak. Professors hyped, pushing Gray into magic class ASAP. Gray shuts it down flat, told he's magic illiterate his whole life. Professor loses it, swearing he's never seen ether compression this smooth. Says focusing just on swords is a total waste. Suddenly buried memories surface. Vila taught him the basics. She always championed those blind to Odo. Without life force, spells get brutal. He asks the prof if he knows what Odo actually is. The man's clueless. Gray gets it. Future tech makes casting effortless. Even a former weakling like him just hit top tier. He guards that intel tight, refusing the magic track. Professor leaves the door cracked open for him, then shoves him back to his seat. Class is too basic anyway. Crowd stunned. Except Leonhardt. Leon's vibe, pure admiration, honestly gives Gray chills. Later, Ariel's letter summons him to her office. Is this about the morning chaos? He reaches the door, it speaks before he knocks, seeing right through it. But the real plot twist, a sword flies straight at his face. He blocks it. Attacker is Ariel. It's a familiar blue-haired girl. Problem, he can't place her. Ariel watches from her desk with two profs, says her guess was spot on, but the guys are skeptical. They ask the girl if she really went full send. Here's the tea, they call her him. Gray realizes this is Albright, the future strongest sorcerer, currently in girl form. Before he reacts, Ariel calls it obvious and forces the bettors to pay up. The bet, whether Gray could tank the blue-haired girl's hit. Ariel generously hands him a cut, a gold coin worth a fortune. He nearly short-circuits holding it. Professors admit Ariel nailed her theory. Gray was intentionally avoiding his dominant arm to hide an injury, tanking his test score. They're dead right. Gray wonders how they cracked the code. Professors claim if they missed it, they're unqualified. Ariel spotted it first, the rest admit his insane potential, but potential's just a starting point. One warns him to recover fast or fail sword course standards. Left alone with Bella and Ariel, she wants to talk magic. She heard the class drama. A professor actually demanded Gray be transferred. She refused, thinking swords suit him better. Still, his move was insane, impulsive, low-ether grasp, but barely anyone pulls it off. She wants his secret, offering cash and ironclad secrecy. Not for Bella, she's a theory genius but struggles with execution. MC's ether compression glitch makes sense to Gray. He already knew Bella needed time to unlock her real talent. Ariel keeps pushing. Can he save Vila from Prof. Bradley? Gray knows him instantly, infamous human experimenter, future catalyst for magical disasters, history's worst magic criminal. Ariel explains if Vila doesn't improve by year-end, she's sent for a magic-boosting surgery. Ariel's having none of it. She states plainly, dozens died from his horrific methods. Vela'd rather risk expulsion than back down. Gray's stuck, dropping future tech could rewrite history, especially since she'll likely find Odo anyway. But thinking of the Liquidator's future carnage, he accepts his mission, fix that doomed timeline. He promises to teach them everything. Cut to training grounds. Gray spills every trick Vila taught him from tomorrow, all under a binding secrecy contract. Initially sounds unhinged, but the logic clicks. Bella's hyped, swearing it's straight-up future magic. It doesn't break current rules, it just upgrades them. The blue-haired girl tests it, casting at max power with his tips. For Gray, zero hype. He's seen her output, one strike wipes cities. Her raw power is too volatile to control right now. Big yikes, he can't stop her in time. Bella fires, obliterating the training field in a second. Gray would have been toast if he didn't seize the energy last millisecond. She channels it flawlessly, shaping the blast into a massive dragon riding the flames. Then she drops. Gray panics, but Ariel says she just hit Ether 0. Still, what Bella pulled off was insane. Proof of the dormant power inside her. With fading strength, he insists she couldn't have pulled it off without him. But really, he just handed her a blueprint she was born to build. The real win? Saving her from that control-stealing surgery. That procedure trades user control for raw power, explaining why future Vila played it safe. One slip could have ended everyone. The deal's on. Gray traded Odo secrets for one thing. Ariel heals his arm. The redhead drops a Loki legendary spell, pressing her palm to his wound. Cobalt energy swirls, then vanishes. His arm works perfectly. Gray's jaw hits the floor. Top-tier potions couldn't pull this off. Ariel smirks, explaining her magic operates on another level entirely. She tosses him a sword. Test it. Gray swings his blade, but the rhythm's off. Looks healed, feels hollow. Ariel catches it instantly. Nerves fixed, sure, but souls, her magic can't stitch those. Most scoff at the idea, but her sight sees the truth. His spirit's still bleeding out. His body's fixed, but his spirit needs downtime. Train as usual, though. Ariel wants to watch him fight, curious why his style tears souls apart. In her world, souls matter as much as Ether or Odo. She mentions a technique that channels spirit into steel, Amy's swordsmanship. Gray freezes. That name? History hasn't even reached the Sword Saint era yet, but Ariel's perception is razor-sharp. His stance mirrors Ami's perfectly, just sharper. Gray's first teacher was literally future Ami, but he dodges the topic, pivoting to soul damage. Ariel drops a truth bomb. Only a rare style cuts spirits, the exact kind that one-shot an ogre general. She's not just paying him for winning her bet. She witnessed that battles end herself. Standard moves couldn't pull that off. Her sight catches weird energy seeping through a chain door, the exact one Gray saw during his power surge. Then she drops the real bombshell. She's seen this force before. It's tied to the Liquidator. Gray locks up. That entity shouldn't exist yet. Time is wrong. Ariel reads his panic instantly. He knows exactly what she means. She blinks, then remembers Gray's always spilling future secrets. Sharp as a tack, she presses him directly. He just warns it's an extinction-level threat that must be crushed before it wakes. Ariel thinks he's Loki dramatic, but if he's right, the fix is simple. Halt Professor Bradley's experiments. She already knows the truth. Bradley's summoning the Liquidator. Gray's mind blanks. In his timeline, nobody knew its origin, but now it clicks. The Academy always predicted the Liquidator's arrival in humanity's final days. They kept him blind. Bradley's Academy linked, the plot thickens. The World Academy was pulling strings all along. Gray demands immediate shutdown. Ariel nods but hits a wall. She can't override an equal-ranking professor. She's already begged her superiors to scrap it, but strict hierarchy locks her out. Bradley's crimes are still hidden. Gray steps up. He knows the bastard's hideout. They can catch him red-handed, but the Academy backs him. Strike without proof and they're the ones getting cuffed. Ariel asks for evidence. Gray sighs. His hands are tied too. Ariel pivots. There's a genius for unknown forces who can help Gray master his power. Hector Philo. Gray recognizes him instantly as the Sword Saint's mentor. Ariel sets up a private lesson starting tomorrow. Gray's hyped, that's literally why he came here. Cut to training. Hector drops him straight into a full-speed Academy Forest sprint. No warm-up, just chaos. Hector blocks all distractions. Just run, the goal, break his body to unlock his power. Insane? Yeah, but Gray forces himself to trust the process, even as Bradley's world-ending plot burns in his head. This grueling week drags on until Ariel checks in. Gray finally vents. He spent 7 days just sprinting. The mood shifts instantly when a letter hits Ariel's desk. Her face drops. Gray notices, but she just slides it over. Bradley wrote it. Bella's abilities haven't improved. Contract breached. The operation proceeds. Gray yells that it's insane, begging for an out. Ariel shuts him down. Only the professor can cancel it. Refuse, expulsion is the only other option. So Ariel pivots. Where Bradley's lab, expose him and the contract voids. She trusts Gray to help find proof, knowing he's been legit all along. They'll drag him into the light together. Gray drops the coordinates, mountains near Toral Village. Ariel connects the dots instantly. He's using an approved academy facility as a cover for his illegal work. Plus, professors don't meddle without cause. They need ironclad proof to stop him. Before they can plan, Bella walks in holding the exact same threat letter. Ariel snatches it, soothing her. Bella clearly doesn't grasp the danger, so she asks if Ariel's facing Bradley solo. Ariel claims her strength is enough, but Gray knows that Bastard's capabilities and his gut screams trouble. Gray volunteers to tag along. Bella insists too, refusing to let them bleed for her. Solid plan until Ariel drops the reality check. Bradley's still a professor. He could do anything. Grace argues that's why they need unity. Channeling the Ogre General's defeat power drastically boosts their odds. Seeing their resolve, Ariel yields with one rule: survive first. Mission locked. They slip into the lab's perimeter woods. Clear skies, 0 patrols, perfect entry window. The mission: sneak past Bradley's Magic Society gig and snag evidence. Naturally, the joint S rigged with traps, so stealth mode is on. Bella's low-key panicking about getting caught, but Ariel just shrugs. Back out anytime. Still, our protagonist's locked in. She genuinely doesn't get why they're risking their necks for her. Gray drops the mic. This isn't just for her. Halting these experiments could literally save the world. The blue-haired girl's extra confused now. Ariel calls it dramatic but agrees they need a solid game plan. They're here by choice, so mission mode activated. They creep forward until Ariel torches a fortress wall with fire magic. Boom, prison block revealed. Victims are scattered, some cold, some barely breathing. Worst part, total silence. No movement, no calls for help. Ariel clocks at least 14 forbidden spells, each one a felony on its own. They don't even need the human experiment charges to lock this monster away, though those will definitely keep him there forever, but all that fades when they hit an altar room. Bella asks, grab evidence or save lives? Gray says bounce before Bradley gets back. Then a voice chimes in behind them, you mean me. Plot twist, Varian Bradley himself, definitely not supposed to be here. Before questions fly, he explains he sent a clone to the conference. He's got a major experiment to wrap up now that his fresh materials arrived. He turns around. The vibe shifts instantly. Those materials, dozens of human corpses, but wait, seeing them here changes his whole script. He's pivoting. He wants to use them. Exceptional vessels overflowing with magic far beyond normal humans. Smug grin on full display, Bradley wonders how they snitched, but he knows they kept it quiet. If they vanish, the Academy won't suspect a thing. Ariel doesn't hold back. Lab rats, right? Bradley just tells her to chill. He's definitely not letting them leave alive, so why not push magic boundaries with their bodies? His arrogance peaks, so much so that he barely dodges a fire blast straight at him. The lab instantly erupts. Plot twist again, the fire didn't come from Ariel. Bella's glare could melt steel. Smoke clears, Bradley's untouched. Force field popped just in time. He shamelessly flexes on her strength, noting Ariel's divine IS still sharp. UMSI's way stronger than he thought. Maybe he should vet the other new students too. Then he drops the teacher-student card. Really gonna kill your own instructor? Bella fires back, better than being a lab rat. Tension spikes to max. Ariel cuts in, proof secured, time to bounce. Bradley's like not happening. He launches a dark magic strike. Ariel blocks it last second, but he just laughs, pointless. This is his masterpiece, the flame of gluttony. It eats defensive magic and burns it as fuel, basically unblockable. Her shield starts fracturing instantly. She's forced to tap her divine eye, weaving a second barrier just to survive the onslaught. That second layer won't last. Ariel tosses a memory bag to the kids. Hector'll know what to do. Run, but Bella flips the script. She erects a third barrier, locking it in place until Ariel screams about their deal. Bradley's magic is too broken for them to handle. Ariel's buying them time. Then the real plot twist hits. Ariel's shield shatters. Only Bella remains standing. Not only does she tank it, she starts draining Bradley's magic piece by piece. Bella drops the explanation. They just needed a different angle. Ariel's not shocked. Bradley's losing his mind. Impossible to cast a counterspell this fast. Bella shrugs, learned a wild theory recently. Made decoding his trick way easier. That snaps Bradley. He's screaming, demanding to know who taught her. Our protagonist drops a hint. It's a secret. My tutor, another student. Bradley laughs it off like a joke, then crushes a strange magic crystal into dust. Bradley warns them this is checkmate. Hundreds of energy skulls spawn instantly, amplifying his spell. Bella's stamina drains fast. Bradley clocks it. She's got maybe 60 seconds of ether left. Desperate, the MC yells for Ariel to strike now. Ariel scans their options through her eye. She can project mana outside the barrier. She does. A massive energy beam fires out, looks devastating at first, but that hype won't last long. Redhead's offense is notoriously weak. Bradley's flames eat part of the beam, rendering it useless. Win odds, 0, Bella panics, she can't hold much longer. Gray steps up, move back, my turn. His sword shouldn't reach him from here, but there's one way. Ariel knows it. She warns him hard, using that power again could kill him. Even if he lives, his injured arm might never work again. Gray doesn't care about surviving. He leaps over the flames, closes the distance in a blur, and decapitates Bradley. Instant kill. Bella's brain short-circuits. Bradley's body hits the floor dead still. Ariel's shocked but hyped, first time seeing that power live, but disaster strikes. The slash tears through the structure. Ceiling collapses. They're getting buried. Ariel steps in, halting every falling rock with her own power. Not a single piece touches them. Ariel asks how he broke past her limits and how his arm feels. He drops the sword instantly. Agony floods his body, numbness creeps in. The black marks spread, but he's still standing, still moving that arm. Months ago, he'd be unconscious for days. Hector's brutal training actually paid off. Ariel thanks him hard, they're breathing because of him. She apologizes for being too weak, forcing his hand. Gray fires back, he dragged them here to end this bastard once and for all. Either way, Ariel's warning is clear, don't touch that power again. Next time it's permanent damage. Gray hears the seriousness. He agrees. Bella seizes the moment. What did you use? I felt 0 ether drain. The more she analyzes it, the less it makes sense. Ariel's non-negotiable. Bella stays in the dark. No digging, no questions, or her memories get wiped. Bella plays along, even tossing a magic contract for full trust. Signed. With Bradley down, Gray drops the experiments to focus on the victims, who look like they're under a dark slumber spell. Ariel suggests the Academy Infirmary ASAP. A protective shield spell drops over them, buying precious time to keep digging through the lab. Then the plot twist hits. Bradley's whole operation was farming human sacrifices for magic catalysts and power boosts. Weirdly, 0 links to the Liquidator. Maybe another facility? Gray shuts it down. This is where the timeline split disaster happened, wiping out tens of thousands. Only the Liquidator could pull that off. Then it clicks, the victims were crushed by something bursting from below. If true, the target's buried deep. Ariel scans for hidden passages and drops a major clue, short-range teleportation traces in the floor. A secret sublevel? Definitely. Energy readings point to roughly 300 meters down. Risky as hell, but they're diving in. Ariel conjures a teleport gate over the traces. If it's a dead end, it'll just open into dirt. Instead, a massive underground city floods with ether centered around a glowing dome. But that's not all, something else is leaking out. The Liquidator's energy, target locked. They breach the dome and spot a lone, eerie door. Gray's seen this setup before. It's sitting inside a highly sus magic circle. Ariel feels 0 threat, casually taps it, inspects it, and swings it open. Bella nearly short-circuits from the stress. Ariel's chill, the door's just a ritual prop. The real juice is in the surrounding structures. Suddenly, they flare to life with ominous energy. Gray yells to stop, she just tripped the alarm. She steps back, totally unbothered. The setup can't actually summon the Liquidator. Proof. The door cracks, spilling dark energy like Gray's S, but the structure's flatline before it escapes. Crisis averted. Ariel breaks it down. These devices don't summon him directly. They punch a hole to his dimension and siphon the leaking power. A filter directs the flow, likely forged from human sacrifices. Just like the lab's findings. Shaken, Bella wonders why Bradley risked everything for this power. Ariel drops a question. Remember that bastard's black flame or that weird X? Floating crystal, clearly crafted from this energy, just beta tests for what's behind that door. As cracks seal, Gray questions if Bradley actually wanted the Liquidator. Ariel shrugs, maybe, he likely just ran out of juice. But here's the kicker, one structure costs a nation's yearly budget. Funding this? Insane. Bella suspects the Discar Empire. Ariel shuts it down. Only a group with magic research outpacing empires could afford that. One place fits perfectly, the World Union Academy. Gray and Ariel agree. No one else funds this madness. Bella's confused, aren't they supposed to be the world's protectors? Ariel confirms it's still the only lead. Gray clings to hope, insisting top brass wouldn't back this. He remembers the other timeline. They never abandoned civilians during the Liquidator's arrival. He refuses to label the Academy a direct enemy. Ariel agrees most members are decent, but factions and power players run wild here. The mastermind had massive backing. After decades of watching them, Ariel drops a warning. Don't trust them blindly. They probably think they're saving humanity. And that's the real nightmare. The place is locked down tight, finding clues is basically impossible. Then boom, explosions erupt everywhere, evidence destroying traps triggered by Bradley's death. Bella panics, screaming to flee. Ariel stays ice cold, just fireworks, she won't let them die over this. Seconds later, she siphons energy from the structures, weaving a protective circle around them. Stay put, she commands as debris rains down. Next thing you know, she teleports them to the forest edge. Bonus, she grabs every survivor and those energy structures. Risky but necessary. Knowing Academy brass, she needs undeniable proof. Next day, they storm the director's office. Turns out it's Alexandro, the guy Gray mistook for an assistant. He welcomes them in, noting survivors are safe in Medbay, and thanks them for stopping Bradley's illegal ops. The structures, each costs more than a nation's yearly budget, but where'd they come from? Stolen during a transport ambush that wiped out 78 Academy agents. Everyone is stunned except Ariel. She knows the lore, 15 years ago pulled off by Blood Drinker. The world's biggest criminal syndicate. Bella's triggered instantly, they killed her parents. They're a hydra with unknown leaders. All we know is they run 70% of global crime, so infiltrating the Academy makes total sense. Gray's worldview cracks, he always saw this place as pure. Ariel drops reality. The Academy admits anyone, regardless of background. Open gates mean global talent gets a glow-up, but villains slip through too. Bella's demanding they hunt down intruders and boot them out. The director nods but stays in his lane, authorities capped, want to expose the mastermind, his only play level up. He drops a truth bomb, some students run the place harder than he does. Power dictates reality here. Grind hard enough and they shift the meta. Naturally, that hype train leaves the group fired up. Alexandro runs the numbers, convinced Ariel soloed Bradley. So either she or her partner pulled the trigger. He's low-key hyped to watch what kind of monsters they evolve into. Post-meeting, Gray checks his arm mark. Defeating the Liquidator or cracking this Academy's secrets? Same grind, level up. He loops on that until he clips a black-haired student. Before he can apologize, a lightning-fast kick forces a desperate block. Then the stranger starts roasting him hard. Telling him to watch his step and roasting him as special admission trash. The bastard's clearly looking for a clash. Gray's hand hovers over his hilt until he spots Ariel approaching. The guy taps out for now. Once clear, he starts muttering. Apparently Bradley ordered him to shadow Gray. So is this a fresh directive, or just lingering orders from a supposedly dead mage? Either way, reporting him to the redhead yields 0 results since it was a bare-knuckle brawl. She suggests he handle it himself while she plays blind. Gray skips that W and admits this isn't his first roast for special admission. But it's definitely the first time it turned physical. Seeing how hard they've been targeted, Ariel drops an apology. More authority would stop the doubt instantly. Gray just tells her to chill. Thanks to her, he's here. He's certain they'll prove the Divine Eye program wasn't a glitch. She has mad talent-spotting skills. She thanks him but reminds him to stand his ground sometimes. Then she leans in. Out of the whole group, he's the one she expects extraordinary things from. Bella and Yemi, top-tier heroes for sure. But Gray, he's the first person who actually made her believe humanity can break its limits. Gray initially thinks comparing himself to legends is total cap. But seeing Ariel's certainty, he tells himself doubts for people who already quit. He might have beaten a link and bought time, but humanity's still in the danger zone. World's fate rests on him. Things settle until practical sword class drops. One-on-one matches only. Gray decides to grind hard and prove he belongs here. Catch, his opponent is Leonhardt, the Academy's undisputed sword king. Seeing the shock on his face. The teacher explains the pairing logic. Matched skill levels mean 0 holding back. Gray immediately sells himself short. Despite crushing an ogre general weeks ago, he still feels miles behind Leonhardt. He assumes the blonde holds a grudge and will use this to wreck him. Regardless, matches start. Leonhardt goes full throttle to prove his worth. The result? A brutal opening Gray can't answer. He's forced into pure defense as rapid strikes rain down. It's obvious this won't be easy. After a while, Gray finally counters. His attack hits so hard that Leonhardt admits he doesn't get how Gray missed regular admission. That tiny spark of respect instantly boosts his confidence, making the clash feel way less lopsided. Slowly, his counters sharpen and speed up. He realizes he's actually holding his ground against someone he thought would delete him instantly. But the skill gap is glaring. Gray might have plot armor, but Leonhardt's technique is flawlessly terrifying. To Gray, Leonhardt reads like a literal monster, or at least he would have back then. The difference now, he actually knows how to handle monsters like this. He taps every ounce of past experience to read the beast's movements until even Leonhardt admits he hasn't had this much fun in ages. But that's the trap. The bastard is low-key vibing with the fight. Zero fatigue so Gray knows he needs a quick finish. He recalls the teacher's pre-match rule, fight like it's for real. Translation, anything goes. Gray sidesteps the strike, kicks Leonhardt's leg, and breaks his balance instantly. While the blonde's still airborne, Gray capitalizes on his zero dodge window. His eyes scream life or death stakes, but Leonhardt can't afford a L either. Midair, he extends his arm so his blade pins Gray's neck exactly as Gray's steel reaches his own throat. Gray helps him up and calls it a draw. The blonde disagrees. He points out that in that final exchange, he could have easily pierced Gray's heart. Since it was just practice, Gray aimed for the neck instead. That gave Leonhardt just enough reaction time. Regardless, it flips the result. Leonhardt takes the W. What's wild is how well the blonde handles it. He insists Gray finally showed him the gap between sparring and actual combat, fighting S about way more than raw technique. But humility doesn't erase that Gray cheated. Leonhardt fires back that cheating, S totally valid in real combat, then suggests a rematch. Gray hesitates. His stamina's nowhere near Leonhardt, S, and keeping up again is literally impossible. Interrupted by a massive guy claiming the teacher never approved kicks or non-sword moves. He also questions how a loser like Gray got paired with the top first year, straight up insulting him for zero reason. Leonhardt steps in, declaring he's the only one strong enough to fight Gray. Translation, Gray's the real threat here. The teacher backs it up, noting their power levels are nearly identical. If he doubts it, he's free to test it himself. Beat Gray first, then you can challenge Leonhardt. The guy confidently accepts, boasting he crushed the entrance examiner unlike everyone else. Leonhardt calls it his biggest mistake, the exact same error he made judging Gray blindly. Good news, more eyes will finally see Gray's power and give him credit. Bad news, this idiot is wasting his prime sparring time. Leonhardt starts glaring like he wants to delete him. The bully notices but has zero clue what's happening. None of it matters once the teacher drops the signal to start. Gray instantly clocks the guy's insane physical endurance. A challenge he can't dodge. Meanwhile, the jerk charges with one goal, put special admission in his place. To his shock, Gray doesn't just block. One clean swing sends him flying like he weighs nothing. The bully's confused face is priceless, but Gray stays locked in. This guy's strength, mid. He wonders if the idiot's holding back because he's absurdly weak. Then within seconds, Gray lands one basic strike that straight up floors him. The exchange moves so fast Gray apologizes for going too hard. But the challenger bounces back, begging a rematch. The teacher allows it, saying they'll keep fighting until he finally gets that Gray's built different. They clash till the guy's wrecked and needs dragging to the clinic. Then the teacher drops the news. Leonhardt and Gray just earned first-year spots in the inter-year clash, where they'll face the top second years. First years have lost 35 times straight, but this year's vibe is different. Gray Loki asks if the power gap is really that huge. The teacher deadass says yes. Losing isn't even a big deal for first years, just getting picked is an honor. Winning would be a total miracle. That's why he tells them to chill. Gray finally breathes easy. He's dead set on using this shot to flip the script on Divine Eye kids and prove they can fight. That means grinding non-stop. But that plot gets derailed during a faculty meeting with Magic Department Elder Bruta. He demands Amy White's expulsion. Ariel jumps in, asking why since she runs their program. Bruta fires back, that's exactly the issue. She failed her third-year promotion exam. And even so, she only stays via special admission. Honestly, Bruta's got a point. Failed students get expelled. Ariel explains the girl's body can't handle her full power yet, but she's on track to become world-class. The other teachers think that's just an excuse, asking how long they should wait for her powers to drop. Ariel insists Emmy could unlock them anytime. They just need patience and must stick to the Academy's goal of nurturing hidden global talent. Sadly, logic fails when idiots refuse to listen. Bruta claims her divine eye isn't as sharp as it used to be, pointing out all her current picks are total failures. Worse, he and another teacher suggest scrapping the special admission system entirely. If over half agree, they can vote to expel every so-called failure. Even the quiet teachers start hesitating. And one claims Bella improved but still isn't as impressive as promised. The whole program feels like charity for untalented kids. Slowly, the redhead realizes she's outnumbered. Bruta tops it off by asking if she really thinks she can judge talent better than everyone else. Even if she wants to say yes, Ariel knows that just fuel her haters and bruise the undecided teacher's pride, making everything worse. To win this round, she has to watch her words. Instead of reacting to Bruta's insults and mockery, she stays quiet, repeating that she still has the touch. Her students just need more time, but she can't stop their expulsion until a teacher mentions Gray. They know he represents first years but doubt he'll pull off anything. Then Bruta proposes, deciding the Divine Eye program's fate based on the competition results. Unsure, Ariel turns to Hector. And his look tells her it's a dead end. She explains Gray's power isn't built for mock battles. His real strength only shows in life-or-death scenarios, which the teachers dismiss as another excuse. Honestly, it does sound like one. They declare that if she refuses, the headmaster will step in and delay the decision until after the competition. Everyone leaves, but the redhead stays behind, trembling guilty. Gray's powers not only aren't fit for practice matches, and it's still too soon for him to use them again. Pushing himself could kill him. Even so, she hopes he pulls through so the other rough gems survive until they shine. He'll have to pull off something insane. Then we cut straight to battle day. Students pack the Coliseum, watching as first-years Leonhardt and Gray get introduced to face second-year powerhouse Lucian Hartman, or so they thought. But then comes the plot twist. A second-year Rada gets introduced, the same guy who jumped Gray in the hallway. Everyone wonders how this match works, but that drops later. The point is Gray recognizes him and wonders if he's fighting him too. While teachers watch closely, Lunel notices last year only a few showed up, meaning a shift. Leonhardt catches on instantly, saying they're just curious about Gray. Lunel thinks he's exaggerating until Bruta overhears and confirms it. They're here to witness the Divine Eye's final bow. Even though Ariel stayed quiet to spare him pressure, this bastard lays it all out. His future and the other so-called failures' fate depend on his performance. Since nobody thinks he can win, they're just here to watch them fall. That makes Gray ask Ariel if it's true. Wanting to keep him safe, she forces a smile and says Bruta just wants to throw him off. It might have worked if Gray hadn't noticed her shaking. He just trusts her. While Bruta tears into her, insisting today proves she's a fraud, the vibe shifts. Gray won't let comments like that slide. Insult him all you want, but he won't let anyone look down on Ariel's judgment. That makes Bruta throw it back, they're failures. Right there, Gray declares he'll prove them wrong. With that out in the open, the match just got way more interesting. The announcer calls them to positions. Gray wonders what's going on. It looks like a real 2-on-1. He figures if he faced Lunel, he'd still have a shot. Instead, he got Rada. Not the strongest, but one of the few who survived Bradley's experiments after his brain was surgically rewired for superhuman reflexes. Since Gray relies on surprise attacks, he's cooked. So Gray's warned not to push too hard if that reckless idiot plans to use his ability. Hearing that, the protagonist just says there's nothing to worry about. The first match kicks off with the top two students. The announcer explains the arena's covered in protective magic to prevent fatal injuries. In other words, they can fight like it's life or death, knowing it ends before anyone dies. So the moment the signal drops, Leonhardt instantly rushes Lunel at full speed, while Lunel locks into a defensive stance, ready for whatever comes. Still, Leonhardt strikes fast. The moment a gap opens, he swings. Leonhardt slips past by a hair. He drops low, launching a brutal kick at Lunel's face straight out of Gray's playbook. But Lunel isn't dumb. He sidesteps it, admitting Leonhardt's strength beats his first-year self. Sadly, that just flips the switch. Pace goes up. No cap. Now Lunel takes over, unleashing a hyperfast combo that shoves Leonhardt back across the ring until he's pinned against the ropes. Cornered, Lunel aims for the neck, but the blade halts inches out. Alarm blares, match over. Zero shock value there. Leonhardt steps back as the announcer calls Gray versus Radom. The protagonist walks center stage, reminding himself he's faced way tougher bosses. Loki unbothered. With Ariel's team counting on him, failures off the table. Rada drags his blade forward, telling Professor Bradley to wait, cause he's sending Gray straight to hell in seconds. Bradley's gone. This emo edgelord is unhinged, and the worst part, he's ridiculously strong. The protagonist feels it the second steel meets steel. Impact slams him back, arm vibrating. Every warning about his reflexes was spot on. His reflexes are glitchy, and paired with that right arm, they're shutting down every win condition. Barely a second in, he knows he needs his ability, but Ariel's warning echoes. Activating it means high death risk. Competition matters, but not enough to cook himself. Plus, the barrier isn't built for his power. Lose control and he kills his opponent. So Gray holds the line. He'll risk his life but won't cross the line to kill an innocent. What he doesn't know, Rada's past that point. Tired of waiting, Rada unleashes precise strikes, oddly drowned out by constant muttering. Moves are basic. With Gray's stats, he should end this fast. He wonders if Rada's glitching out. Confirmed by bloodlust-filled eyes. Rada drives his blade straight for Gray's eye. Dodge? Impossible. The fight should have ended there, but a sudden shift saves him. He blocks it last second, surprising himself. Weird part, he knows he shouldn't have made it. Did the lunatic weaken it on purpose? Plus, something else feels off. Up in the stands, Gray spots movement inside Rada's chest. He wonders what that power is. Teachers call the battle one-sided, some mocking him. Rada could have ended this ages ago. Still, they admit he's holding out surprisingly well. That proves his strength. But it stops mattering when Ariel demands they end the test now. Bad vibes. Things are about to get ugly. Others insist the security system is flawless and will block lethal attacks. They take Ariel's warning as fear of losing. Even so, she yells it won't protect Gray from what's coming. Too late. In seconds, chest energy erupts. One swing tears through the floor and shatters the barrier. It nearly hits Bruta, who finally listens to Ariel. She realizes something wild and dark was planted inside him. Sadly, when she tries to step in, the barrier pushes her back. Saving the protagonist requires turning it off. Problem is that takes time. Ariel shouts for Gray to run and buy them some. Turning his back means instant death, so he has one shot. Without wasting a second, the man gives advice. Treat your body like the sword, abstract at first but picturing himself as the blade makes it click. Another heavy attack comes at him. This time he dodges it, instantly appearing behind his enemy. He moves so fast he wonders if his opponent slowed down, realizing he leveled up. Confidence surges. He nearly drives his strike through Rada's face. Well, nearly, the barrier blocks the cut but not the impact. All that stored energy blasts him away at insane speed. Until he slams into an arena wall. Pay attention. He goes straight through the barrier, shocking teachers who question what kind of fight this is. Medics are ordered for his injuries. Should have been over, except he stands back up, overtaken by demonic energy. And he's totally unharmed. Ariel warns the protagonist the fight isn't over. He raises his guard just in time to see it, energy building into tentacles. Rushing at him from every angle. It's so insane Bruta asks what the hell it is. Ariel pressures the tech team. Barrier shuts off in 10 seconds. In this nightmare, every second counts. Rada closes in with force and bloodlust, proving he's not human. Then again, neither is the protagonist. Even fighting back hard, he still refuses to kill him. That choice costs him badly. The next strike lands, coughing blood. Worst part, confirms he'll die without activating his ability. So he bets everything, releases his power, and cuts down his enemy in a blink. Rada falls. Everyone watches from the stands, stunned silent until the barrier drops and teachers move at once. They combine restraint spells to pin him. Gray gathers his remaining strength trying to stand, but Ariel's warning was right. His body gives out, crashing to the ground, torn up. The redhead uses healing magic on his wounds, others join instantly. They stabilize him, then Gray blacks out. Unconscious for 10 seconds, then he gets back up like nothing happened. Wounds closed, feels fine, no pain. To be sure, Ariel checks him with her special sight. What she finds shocks her. Gray's soul, 0 scratches. Healing magic patched his body, but only Hector stayed unshocked. Their setup just dampened the backlash. Years of brutal conditioning forged Gray into a vessel for that destructive power. Ariel still side-eyes Hector for risking her student, sparking a quick debate while Gray realizes that torture finally paid off. Medics drag Rada out for repairs. Ariel asks who actually won. Hector drops the truth. Rada's barrier triggered when Gray's strike nearly bisected his face. That's a win for Gray. The first-year rep gets declared victor, crowd loses it. Hector reminds the elders, Gray just snapped a 35-year losing streak. Proof enough that Ariel's divine eye never blinks wrong. Alexander immediately calls opponents of the special class idiots. Another professor adds they should be ashamed for nearly dropping talent. Ariel stays silent, just thinking thank you. Teachers pivot to Bruta, asking if he's still ready to question Ariel and her divine eye. Naturally, him and his backers instantly fold. They bolt away. Case closed. Someone mutters that fighting the divine eye used to be suicide. The road ahead is long, but today shifted everything. That comment about Ariel's faded glory leaves Gray questioning her downfall. What broke her status? His thoughts get cut off when the headmaster approaches, voice dead serious. They need to talk. Rada's actions were only possible thanks to a strange power lodged inside him. The Academy will investigate and make sure the culprit pays. They can't ignore their failure to detect the threat that nearly killed Gray, so the headmaster apologizes. Gray brushes it off. The headmaster pivots to issue 2. After Rada lost control, Gray unleashed something alien, not magic, something stranger, a power modern theory can't touch. He demands Gray explain what it really is. Gray decides on honest but simple. He claims ignorance, saying he only realized the power when Ariel noticed it and explained its sleeping potential. The redhead watches from afar, wondering what game he's playing. Gray shoots her a quick look, begging her to play along. If they want to stop the Liquidator, she needs to stay in charge. Ariel gets it and steps in to back him up. She notes magic theory can't grasp Gray's power, but her eyes see it clearly. Hector's brutal training was meant to control it. She's been investigating it herself, demanding control over the matter. Alexander agrees, since Divine Eye students are technically her responsibility. He offers help, then they pivot to Rada needing examination in the infirmary. Ariel heads out with them. Later, she meets up with Gray. The power inside Rada matches the Liquidator's. Bradley must have used those same crystals again. Rada wasn't beaten by Gray's attack. That foreign power activated instantly, hijacking his mind and body. Ariel pieces it together quickly. Rada's presence wasn't a coincidence. Someone sent him to kill Gray, likely payback for taking down Bradley. If the professor died before manipulation, Bradley's off the hook. This points straight to a third party. Someone with student record access and ties to that shady research. Ariel's gut screams the culprit is high-ranking academy staff. She congratulates him on mastering his power without soul damage, then drops news. Hector wants to push him to the next training stage. Gray will unlock even more potential. Next scene, Gray stands center field, surrounded by hundreds of armored dummies. From a distance, Hector and specialists warn him this method is dangerous and agonizing. He must explicitly agree to everything ahead. Safer options exist, but they're painfully slow. Gray accepts the risk. Training begins. He closes his eyes, focusing on last time's technique, moving as if fused with the sword. Dark energy flows through him, wrapping the blade and body. He opens his eyes, declares "Here I come," and instantly starts tearing through the dummies. His movements are so smooth it looks like his arm rides the wind itself. Before he finishes every target, his body crashes. The experts rotate healing magic to force him back on his feet within minutes. Gray thanks them. Each attempt extends his control slightly. If this pace holds, he'll soon fight full battles without breaking down afterward. But Gray admits using that power makes every inch ache. Hector insists it's a good sign, proof he's pushing past his limits. He offers an out if Gray wants to slow down. Gray refuses, ready for one more round. Ariel cuts in immediately. She reminds them this brutal method is strictly once daily. His nerves need recovery time, even with healing magic. Pushing past that limit, he could permanently lose his sword control. For once, Hector agrees. A healer asks why Gray is so obsessed with getting stronger. Ariel explains Bradley's allies are now hunting him down. Rado's incident was just the start. Getting stronger is his only survival route. Ariel apologizes again for dragging him in, but Gray says stopping the Liquidator's experiment was entirely his choice. So he's ready for whatever comes next. Ariel suggests changing the weapon. Even an Academy-issued top-tier blade won't handle his power long-term. With all his unsealed potential, she doubts any standard weapon could survive. She offers to take him to her vault to pick one. Hector immediately warns she's going too far. Gray isn't ready yet. Ariel ignores him. Suddenly, a door opens out of nowhere. She swears he earned it, so they step through a portal straight into a legendary vault. Gold and gems overflow every corner. It's massive, even Ariel's lost to the sword aisle. They finally find it. Her mission? Grab a blade that syncs with his power. Hector drops this as the world's biggest armory. Too many options. Ariel plays it safe. One test daily at max output, since his skill only grants one real shot per day. First, they filter the options. Ariel hands him a massive claymore, the sharpest in the vault. Gray swings it through a giant log. No cap, he doesn't even need his power to split it clean. The impact cracks the floor. Insane, but too heavy for his usual speed. Hector points out, useless if you can't swing it. Still, against slow divine beasts, perfect. Ariel tells him to keep it anyway. She tosses him a magic storage bag for easy carry. Gray refuses, feeling unworthy of a free legendary blade. Ariel pushes back. Better he uses it than let it gather dust. Besides, Bradley's mastermind is hunting him now. Unknown threats ahead. If she knew he'd never need it, she wouldn't push. But if there's even a sliver of chance he might need it, then he has to take it. The war flashes in his mind, always fighting for scraps. He finally accepts it, thanking her. Hector warns him to keep a low profile. Its market value hits 10K gold. Gray nearly chokes and tries to return it. Ariel shuts down returns. She's not lending it. She's gifting it because she wants him fighting without holding back. Forget the price tag. If it still bugs him, treat it as a reward for everything he's done for her. Gray tries to refuse again, but the redhead shuts him down. This time the idiot thanks her properly. But that's just the intro, now they need something practical for human fights. While searching, Gray admits he never expected her vault to be this insane. Hector drops that this is only the start. Her divine eye doesn't just show abilities, it flags market value and business plays, invisible to others. Basically, that eye could make her filthy rich. Ariel cuts them off, stop chatting, and says that as the sword instructor, Hector should pick the next one, so he chooses the next blade. After scanning the room, Hector points to a simple sword so light Gray could move at ridiculous speed. The catch, it feels too average, something's off. Gray wonders if he's just paranoid, but Hector agrees it's not the right fit. They skip it. Next up catches his eye, a blade with bright blue details. Instantly grabs him. He's so hyped he blurts out what it is. But that's just the intro. When he lifts it, it's feather-light. Even weirder, he runs a finger along the edge, no cut. Zero sharpness. Built to test tech, not for combat. Dull but insanely durable. A combo that might actually be his vibe. Why? His power makes sharpness irrelevant. He needs a blade that survives his growing strength. Other swords work now, but sooner or later they'll cap his growth. So Ariel thinks the key to pushing his potential even higher is getting used to fighting without depending on a blade's edge. That's why this sword lets him grow without limits. She proves it by smashing a test block with full force. It won't cut, but the impact nearly destroys it anyway. Ariel isn't fully sold yet, but admits it's worth trying. He can check out any gear, even non-swords. Instantly hooks Gray. He could study this vault all day. One emerald-colored blade quickly catches his eye, and he's about to grab it when something changes. His body halts on instinct, then drifts toward an unnoticed blade. Long, slim, strangely familiar. He asks Ariel about it. She explains a former student left it after graduating. Not famous, but top-tier craftsmanship. She's right, Gray tests it, and it fits his hand perfectly. Then the real deal hits. First swing slices a test block like butter, syncing with his movements in a terrifyingly smooth flow. Even Hector and Ariel notice it. It's like he trained with it since birth, made just for him. Seeing his hype, Ariel adds it to the test list. They still need to see if it handles his power. Gray agrees but feels guilty about potentially ruining someone else's gear. Again, Ariel shuts that down instantly. Then everything shifts when she drops a name, Metalum Norum. Currently a nobody, but destined to become the world's greatest magic swordsmith. Days pass, then they finally start testing. The plan? Push each blade to its limit to judge power and durability, starting with the blue-detailed one. At first it responds perfectly. Then Gray activates his power, suddenly something cuts off. Even weirder, it keeps glitching no matter how hard he focuses. So bizarre that Ariel asks if he feels any bodily changes. He feels fine. Conclusion, the sword itself is blocking him. They set it aside and move straight to the last blade, the supposedly ordinary one that might actually be the perfect weapon. He runs through the routine he's been drilling lately, tells himself he'll become one with the blade, then unleashes shocking energy. This time, good news, it activates and the power holds. Everything seems fine until a voice whispers in his ear, while there's still time. He spins around, thinking he imagined it, but the voice keeps going, coming straight from the sword itself. From afar, Hector and Ariel notice nothing off, so the test continues as Gray wipes out training dummies. He notices the power matches his usual output, but the sword channels it flawlessly. Plus, his body feels unnaturally light, letting him chain attacks at speeds that shock nearby healers, but they spot something else. He isn't just fast, he's gliding through combat like a pro. The real plot twist hits seconds later when Gray turns to strike the next target and realizes there aren't any left. He used to drop half before passing out, but now he wiped them all in record time. Still, Ariel and the others watch him with worried faces, asking how the hell he's still standing. It's not just energy strain, his chest is split open end-to-end like a sword pierced straight through him. Panicking, the redhead screams for him to drop it. He obeys, shocked when the pain hits the second he lets go. Healers rush in, layering healing magic over him. He's still trembling, barely on his feet. Ariel drops the truth, magic can't fix blood loss like that. Sit. He just shattered limits his body never knew existed. Heike impressive but Loki suicidal to keep moving blind. He'll need a seasoned healer ASAP. That reckless combat style, straight up dangerous. Right now the sword's pristine. 0 scratches, flawless. Ariel scans it with her magic eye, the blades literally glowing like it loved the fight. But that detail fades fast. Her reflection catches weird movement near the main towers. She looks up. Boom, towers shatter into dust. Rubble rains down. Panic hits the student body. Teachers instantly link hands, raising a massive shield. Even our MC didn't see this plot twist coming. Hector breaks it down. Arya's vault holds dangerous gear, so someone triggered that blast. Worse, he caught a ghost of teleportation magic. This wasn't random, it's a heist setup. The vault is supposed to block teleports, but Ariel smells Liquidator energy in the smoke. They used underground lab crystals to blow the wall and kill the anti-teleport field. Short version, Bradley's crew pulled this off. Bradley's allies are bold enough to hit the Academy HQ straight up. Days later, Ariel confirms the investigation points to theft. She's kept in the dark, obviously. But since they nuked the teleport inhibitor and vanished like pros, she's locking it in as an inside job. The Academy's trust? Shattered. She wonders if it was ever real. Our MC sees it differently, though. If they controlled the Academy, they'd grab vault loot quietly. The chaos means zero legal access. It's so sus Ariel still suspects the blue drinkers. This brute force? A warning. Both she and Gray are in the crosshairs. He needs to stay locked in, inside and out. MC gets major bad vibes, and he's not alone. Next class hits and everyone's visibly rattled. He assumes it's the explosion fallout. Wrong. They're actually sweating over the outdoor march assignment. Leonhardt thinks he missed the memo, but MC drops the truth. They're spending a full week trapped in a high-level monster zone. Just camp-to-camp travel takes 16 hours straight. Zero guarantee of sleep while predators stalk them all night. He stays ice-cold while others panic. Over half the first years drop out from this test. They don't know he's survived way worse. Past training dumped them in deadlier forests, zero backup, just monsters that wiped most of them out. Leonhardt's basically his hype man now, but seeing everyone so rattled makes Gray pause. Maybe he's underestimating this. Time to lock in. Cut to exercise day. Hector drops the stakes, crush this test, or second years off the table. Gray spots there at Wintle Continent's edge, wild, uninhabited despite the pretty facade. He wonders why, but the answer's coming fast. Supervisor Hexern reroutes them deep into the forest. Hours blur as they trek through endless canopy. The real test begins now. Worst part, they've only covered half the route. Teachers try to hype them up, but morale's dipping. Leonhardt's not even winded, yet he's low-key stunned by MC's stamina. 8 hours straight, zero slowdown. Then chaos hits, a girl S about to get swarmed by a giant spider. MC doesn't blink. One flick of the wrist, dagger flies, monster drops dead. It's not just endurance. He's locked in, zero openings in his stance, pure readiness. Gray still thinks this is child's play compared to his past hellscape. His real worry, exposure. The Academy knows their exact coordinates, perfect ambush setup. Teachers finally call halt, not at the goal, but because Phase 2 starts now, survival cooking. Nobody knows what that means. Confused glances turn into sudden cheers. Feast time, right? Gray S not buying it. If they wanted to feed them, they'd just say so. Training means the opposite. His suspicion hits hard when a teacher drops the truth. Students cook themselves. It's part of the test. Teams will grab gear and prep their own meals. Supplies materialize instantly. MC gets named Squad D leader alongside Basque, Rumia, and Venice. He's nervous, expecting pushback from a non-traditional recruit. Instead, total respect. They approach him straight up, zero drama about his exam status. He even checks if they're cool with it. They are. His recent flex proved he's top-tier first-year material. Mission focus engaged. Gray thinks he's finally got his dream scenario. Then they crack the crate. Zero rations, just a pot and a lighter. They assume a glitch until the teacher drops reality. Real combat means zero prep gear. Be glad you got cookware. You're on your own. Leonhardt mentions modern magical storage, but the teacher shuts it down. That's only for planned ops, in active combat. Or if supply lines cut, you adapt or die. Magic storage bags are luxury items anyway. This training's legit. Today we're doing it old school. Leonhardt apologizes. Gray finally values that magic bag Ariel gifted him. The mission's clear, trek straight into the woods and scavenge. Good news, it's easier now. Teachers have been casting a monster-repelling ward this whole time. They drop the bait and dinner walks straight to them. But to feast, they gotta fight first. A twig snaps, safety vibes vanish instantly. Loki sweating now since multiple monsters are locked onto them with lethal intent. Panicked, the squad asks Gray for a play. His answer, straightforward, hunt M, eat M. Good news, he's been tracking closely. Most prints point to medium or small targets. Swords should handle it. Strategy? Simple bait and switch. Carnivores will hunt themselves down. They just need to react fast and strike. Basically, they're the bait, but speed is key. Linger too long and other squads steal their lunch. While others eye bugs, Gray's sharp call leads them deeper into the woods. They track fresh prints until realization hits. Perfect prey found. It's massive. A colossal bear monster charges forward, claws out, ready to wreck them. Gray saw this coming. The squad, frozen solid. First time seeing a real monster up close hits different. Worse, it's way faster than expected. Still, they dodge just in time, bodies moving on pure instinct. The pink-haired guy thinks this is his moment to shine. After evading another massive swing, he strikes. Sword plunges into the neck. Right when he thinks he's got it cornered, the bear swings a paw at him. Inches from his face before he notices. Gray reacts instantly, tearing the paw clean off. The beast goes feral, Gray's on his back beside it as the monster lashes out. Brutal strike, not a chance, he already read the move. Seconds later, head's gone. From afar, teammates watch in shock. How'd he pull that off? Gray quickly hoists the pink-haired guy up. Thanks exchanged. But Gray drops a warning, don't get comfortable. Even dying monsters strike back. Forget just killing them, survival's the real goal, not people. They're beasts fighting to the bitter end. They dig into the bear meat. Tastes way better than expected. Gray explains monster meat varies wildly by species. Some are edible, others straight-up poison. Always check the local bestiary before missions. Rumi is surprised, asking if he trained in survival skills. Gray shrugs, knows a few tricks but no expert. Chat continues until another squad rolls up. They ask for leftovers. Gray checks with his team and agrees. Problem, before handing anything over, the professor drops in. Sharing food between squads is strictly banned. He escorts the group away. Soon after, all teams regroup for another 16-hour march. Exhaustion hits hard this time. Unlike Gray's squad, others barely recovered before hitting the road. Professor announces campsite. Good news, finally getting portable rations and personal tents for actual rest. Bad news, night surprise attack drill. Each squad defends their own zone, use whatever works. Some idiots plan to sleep and use other squads as human alarms. Professor already countered that every team gets isolated zones. No cheating, no free rides. Second exercise starts. Camp setup begins. Safest bet, 2 watchers at once, but sleep time drops. They settle on one guard rotating through the night. Order, easy pickings. Gray ends up second watch. Bask, the pink-haired guy, takes third. Everything's chill until sleep hits. Rumia starts first shift, thinking it'll be easy. Surprise, knife-wielding figure creeps closer. She's fighting heavy eyelids, so she notices nothing until a twig cracks. Gray jolts awake with instant dread. No animal moves that quietly. Enemy's human. He peeks through a tent gap. Rumia's still unresponsive. Someone's out there. Instantly, Ariel's warning echoes. Bradley's backers are hunting him. Probably just the drill, but he stays locked in case it's an assassin. Quietly slipping out, he scans the perimeter by moonlight. Following fresh signs triggers sharp memories of Jacob, the divine archer, personally drilling him. Jacob taught him silent movement, stressing the real trick isn't avoiding sound, it's matching nature's rhythm. Blend in, become the woods. Gray uses it flawlessly, closing in unseen until he catches the intruder. Knife to the neck before a blink. Move if you want to live. Answer every question. One twitch and it's over. Name and affiliation. Shock hits when the man turns. It's the professor sneaking through camp. Never expected a student to jump him. Caught completely off guard, threatened with skill and awareness. Makes sense. But Gray's paranoia runs deep. Could this still be an assassin? He knows real killers bring heavier gear than a pocket knife. Takes a beat before stepping back. Rumia interrupts. She came out to check the perimeter and freezes seeing them. They explain everything. The professor notes it's rare for first years to be this prepared, assumes they had dual watchers. Gray catches that detail. Explains he only stepped out after hearing a noise, asking if the professor cracked a twig nearby. Professor never expected detection from something small. Gray just shrugs, light sleeper. He laughs, he's been watching Gray. Since entering the academy, the kid keeps dropping surprises that leave him wondering if there's anything left to teach. Decides Gray gets banned from night watch training. If he handles everything alone, teammates miss out on learning. Gray worries that'll steal more sleep for the squad. Professor drops a fix, no attacks during Gray's guard hours. Rest stays intact and others get their own shot to prove themselves. On top of that, the prof auto gives our MC a flawless 10. Case closed? Hardly. As he struts off, suspicion brews. Did this kid hit some secret grind? What's his real deal? With questions lingering, we fast forward to tomorrow's march. Sleep deprivation and raw exhaustion finally catch up, dragging their heavy pace down hard today. Still, the squad powers through till dusk. Hitting camp, they're so fried they dread the next trial until the prof drops the chill pill. Rest day, 0 tent duty, feast incoming. While everyone zones out, staff cook up a massive spread. But our MC, the vibe's totally off right now. Something's definitely cooking behind that smile. Tomorrow's gonna be absolute hell. Leonhardt backs Gray, they chat till the prof signals release. Boom, feast table loaded up. Eat till you burst, he boasts, praising their grind. But that grin, too perfect. Red flags everywhere. The next day slaps them with cold reality. The real nightmare phase kicks off, and it's absolutely brutal today indeed. They breach the Gastia range, harsh terrain but morale's high after recovery. Calm pace until the alert drops, 2 clicks to water lizard territory. These beasts delete humans in seconds. Silence is survival. One slip-up means instant game over. They look docile but make zero mistakes. They're pure bloodlust just waiting to snap absolutely now. Gray's footwork screams Jacob's old drills. The prof clocks it instantly, only a veteran hunter moves like that. Meanwhile, the rookies stumble badly. Prof screams at them to speed up. Gray calls it reckless suicide for beginners in a kill zone. They push forward to the dead zone. Absolute silence is now mandatory. False comm hits hard. Some drop their guard, convinced the lizard warnings are fake news. No way they'd feed noobs to a death trap. He trips, laughing it off as just point deduction. Big L seconds later, the ground actually shakes hard. They're completely boxed in. The horde charges and pure panic sets in instantly now. Pure bloodlust fuels the charge. Claws rake toward a student until Hector intercepts, driving steel through its skull. Ground cracks from the impact, but this is just the tutorial phase. He yanks his blade, another beast leaps. Leonhardt counters clean, but thick scales deflect the strike like plate armor. Zero damage dealt at all. It's already airborne and closing fast right now. Blonde's at a massive disadvantage. Hector intervenes, barking that rookies aren't built for this. Teachers fall back to handle the swarm. They struggle for deep cuts but manage to drop them anyway. Mustache Prof drops lore. Summer lizards run dry internally. A single nick drains their life force. A rookie nervously asks about rainy season tactics right now. Mustache Man shuts it down. Rainy season means instant death. Perfect timing for this grind. They push to the summit. Hector drops praise, setback survived. Leonhardt admits the silent stress beat the terrain, that's the whole meta. Gray, ice cold. War's old drills kept him grounded, but just as they relax. Hector notes their crushing past rookie records, asks for questions before hitting enemy zones where chatter means death. Gray skips the cue and he's tracking a threat. A storm front races toward them. Wind direction screams rain. Hector takes it seriously, pressing the Mustache Pro about seasonal weather. Impossible, he claims, but with Gray's eyes locked on. He spots it too, trouble incoming. Hector calls a hard retreat, cancel the grind, extract ASAP, but the Mustache Pro Wormhill pushes back. Cloud's tiny, zero panic needed. Keep moving. Hector argues seasonal storms are impossible now. Wormhill leans on veteran status, backed by faculty. Trust the process, they insist. Wormhill doubles down, speed up or perish. Students sprint silently. No time for fights, so stealth goes max, but Hector's fears materialize fast. Under 10 minutes, skies open. Seasonally impossible, he suspects sabotage. To make it worse, Wormhill starts vocalizing shock right in the kill zone. Gray steps in deadpan, shut your trap immediately now please. He ignores the warning, instant karma strikes. A lizard materializes behind him, claws primed, faster than recorded specs. Wormhill barely sidesteps, drawing steel to counter. Arm pierced, blood sprays, it doesn't drop. Rage mode activated, tail whips like a cable. Another stab lands, but damage is negligible. The beast just laughs in pure reptile right now. Impact launches him across the canopy. He crashes into bedrock, shaking off the hit. Students watch in disbelief. Even Gray doubts those reflexes should miss that dodge. This lizard operates on a whole new power level. Every warning just validated. Remaining staff lock into a quad formation to pin it down. 4-on-1 should be an absolute guaranteed W right now. Every strike lands dead center, but the beast fights like it's glitching out. It shatters Wormhill's guard, floors him, and speeds up. No hesitation, it lunges to end him. Hector's blade intercepts, carving a clean neck slice right before the kill shot connects. They're shocked they even pulled off the takedown. Hector warns, no time to celebrate. Not even the teachers walk away from this unscathed. The mustache guy nods, ordering a female teacher to cast an emergency teleport. She's been trying, but the spell flatlines. Others test it, same dead end. Someone's actively jamming their magic. Add the impossible rain and the plot thickens, they're being hunted. Specifically, this whole expedition is in the crosshairs. Wormhole panics, voice cracking, what's the play? Another teacher suggests camping it out, crossing in this rain is suicide. Makes sense unless the storm's artificial, meaning it won't stop till they're all cooked. Debate erupts. Both paths are dead ends, they're truly boxed in. Gray steps up with healing magic on standby, he'll carry the fight. His skill spikes their survival odds. Hector nods but warns no one can guarantee Gray survives the exit. Still, stalling equals death. Gray pushes through the burn risk, calling this the ultimate grind to break his limits. It's their only shot. When Hector hesitates, Gray corners him. Would you really trade dozens of students for your own safety? The guilt hits hard. Hector recalls Ariel's warning about Gray's self-sacrifice habit plus her desperate plea to keep the boy alive. No other move left. He caves. Wormel cuts in, calling it insane to bet everyone's lives on a kid. Hector counters they haven't seen Gray's full kit, and with options slim, they ride or die together. Some waver, but Wormel stays locked in. He pivots. Order comms magic to HQ. Waiting beats gambling on one student. Even with signals jammed, the teacher swears he got the ping through. Tension spikes as Wormel calls Hector reckless, risking the squad. Hector fires back. Monsters won't wait for backup. Still, the room flips to Wormel's side. He shuts it down, hold position. Silence falls. They're waiting on a miracle, but panic creeps in with every tick of the clock. The only one unbothered, Wormel himself. Forest rustles, lizards are here. Hector drops into stance, warning Gray to hold back unless it goes south. Gray nods. Round 2 begins. The beast lands a hit before Hector and Wormel collapse it with a dual chest strike. Quick win breeds false confidence. They think they've got this. Dead wrong. Combat noise pulls 2 more Gray beasts in. Leonhardt and students draw steel, but Hector halts them. Teachers still have fuel. Students watch closely. This is how Academy pros operate. Eyes sharpen, formations lock. They engage both targets simultaneously. Leonhardt's stunned by their zero hesitation. But the brawl stays brutal, forcing split focus to take down threats one by one. Hector tanks the beast, landing rapid strikes to open a gap. Wormel drives his blade home. Students cheer. One target remains, cornered and roaring. Leonhardt notices the teachers are barely scratched. Maybe they can hold till backup arrives. Hope shatters instantly. Mid-fight, 2 figures materialize behind the group, blades drawn for execution. They're closing fast. Gray intercepts, severing both arms in one flash. But the real plot twist: the attackers aren't strangers. It's Wormhole and the Glasses teacher who backed him every step. The near victim turns, sees them bleeding out, but forces focus back on the beast. Hector thanks Gray for the clutch save. They drop the monster. Then comes the reckoning, confronting the traitors and demanding answers. Wormhole denies everything, claiming he was just fighting the beast when Gray took his arm. The Glasses teacher echoes it, demanding Gray's arrest. Another professor shuts them down, pathetic. Everyone saw their true targets. Students nod in unison. They all witnessed the same betrayal. Not unprecedented here, but never from teachers before. As for the motive, obviously they plan to fake it as an accident. Kill or kidnap, still unclear. But one thing's certain, they're alive because of Gray. He tells Wormhole to drop the act. He and Hector suspected him forever. The shock nearly breaks his cover. Did the plan leak? Gray shakes his head. Nothing leaked. They just read his moves. Every strategy he pushed left the squad exposed. Gray initially wrote him off as incompetent, but the rain changed everything. His movements glitched. He took avoidable hits on purpose, playing along to blend with his real betrayers. The protagonist barely felt the backlash, but Wormhole's plan isn't cooked yet. He laughs maniacally, mocking their ignorance. The real nightmare just started. Nothing's changed. Rain still falls, monsters keep spawning, backups too slow. They're all walking dead, yet he offers a deal. Spare the students if Hector, Gray, and teacher rent hand over their lives. Another thug steps up, blade drawn, but our MC moves faster than lag, slipping behind him with steel at his throat. One more twitch and you're dead. Yet Wormel stays chill until Gray clocks it. This guy's the squad's teleportation mage. He's why magic's blocked here. That makes him the VIP key to their escape. Even Hector's caught off guard, admitting he missed it too. Turns out Gray's sharp enough for a rookie. He marches in, blade inches from the guy's eye, demanding they teleport everyone to the base now. Refuse, Hector promises a one-way trip through his skull. Gray amps up his aura, locking down escape routes. Wormhole finally sweats, throwing out empty threats to keep his crew loyal. Too late. Hector steps forward, steel poised, just before it pierces his eye. He slams his palms down, magic flaring. Poof, they're not just at the mountain base, they're back at the Academy's starting line. Plot twist, he yanked everyone along, including himself, Gray, and the teachers. Full reset. Guards show up, jaws dropped, seeing first years back early. Hector drops the truth bomb, teaching staff tried to cook them. Evacuation was mandatory. Specifically Wormold and his 2 magic profs. He tries to play innocent, but the students drop the receipts instantly. They'd be dead without Gray and Hector's clutch save. Guards prioritize safety first, checking for injuries. Silence all around. Even Wormold knows playing victim wastes time. Instead of just cuffing him, they bag everyone and drag them to a holding room for interrogation. Locking down every exit to stop a cover-up. One by one, they're shoved into isolation rooms for debriefs. Hours pass. Before day's end, they're dragged into court for the final call. The headmaster drops the names: Wormold expedition leader, vice headmaster Valen, and two emergency profs who orchestrated it. Even the escaped teacher was in on the scheme. Guilty as charged. No plea deals here, they get the death penalty on the spot. Investigators get full clearance to extract every secret they can. The message is loud: no quick exits for cowards. Wormold begs for a fast death, begging to skip the pain. The headmaster just stares, dead silence. He tries to bolt but gets caught mid-step. Brutally tackled by a guard. The headmaster drops one line: take them away. Three get dragged off, leaving only the teleport mage who folded early. He's still guilty, but cooperation buys him a life in the criminal battalion, convicts fighting wars to shorten their time. Later, Gray meets Hector, who apologizes for the chaotic student life. Gray just shrugs, he's used to the grind. Gray's shocked by the rot inside what he thought was a safe haven. Hector drops reality: the academy barely screens anyone, valuing raw power over morals. Gray can't judge if that's good or bad, but he knows it forged him into someone stronger than he ever imagined. Corrupt? Yeah, but he still has people to trust, that's enough. Hector realizes Gray isn't normal, which is exactly why he's warning him. Classes are about to spike in difficulty. Rougher terrain, but Gray's ready to level up. That's the whole point. Days later, Ren gathers them, praising their survival through the trip. Strange stuff happened, but they lived. Basic training's done. Next phase starts now. Before explaining, he drops a massive steel stake over 15 cm thick. He splits it clean with one swing. Cut it clean in one swing? You're fast-tracked to second year. Miss, you grind longer. Fail by term's end. Automatic expulsion. Roughly half the class gets filtered out yearly. A girl panics, asking what happens if they get kicked out. Ren drops a quick reality check: don't worry, you won't die. Usually they just transfer to regional academies. Expelled World Academy grads often become elite talent elsewhere, or join Royal Guards and bounty guilds if they quit studying. Making it this far already makes them superhuman. Gray recalls Ariel's warning: the gap between here and everywhere else is insane. So instead of stressing over expulsion, Ren just tells them to swing at the stake. Looks impossible for their level, and it is. The first guy can't even scratch it. He hurts his hand and drops his blade. Rin loses it, yelling that swordsmen never let go of their steel. Gray asks if he can use a special sword, hoping Ariel's might work. Teacher shuts it down instantly: standard issue only. Gray could cheat with his power, but pride stops him. If others did it clean, so will he. Nail this and nothing stops you, not even the Liquidator, so it's just about leveling up. Teacher hears his thoughts: no cheats needed, just practice and vital force infusion, the real gap between rookies and pros. Channel that energy into your blade. Gray remembers hearing of this in his past life. Now he gets why these swordsmen are op. Luckily, Ren's here to teach it. The trick: a demonic sword that siphons life force until your body adapts naturally. Who's brave enough to test it first? Most flinch at the name. Only two step up: Gray, desperate to grow, and Leonhardt, still salty over losing to a water lizard despite being top of his class. Teacher picks the blonde guy. The second he grips it, strength drains fast. Beginner warning means keep it short. Teacher tells him to move quick. Shock hits the crowd as he actually bites into the stake. Not enough to cleave it clean, but he carves a brutal groove before his legs give out. Ren waves off the panic: standard rookie hazing. The blade siphons stamina, so they just need a breather. Leonhardt lasted ages, respect, top student energy. Then Gray steps up, zero hesitation. While the blonde crumples, Gray strikes clean. The moment steel leaves the scabbard, his stamina drains fast. He forces the swing, carving nearly through the wood before sheathing it and collapsing. Ren's jaw drops, first student to stay upright post-swing. Pure Hector grindset pushing past limits. Intrigued, Ren calls for a rematch, but this time he barely scratches it before his knees buckle. Ren drops the lore: this academy-exclusive drill exists for a reason. Rumi guesses danger, but nope, nobody's actually died from the blade itself. Maybe it's too op to leave in common markets? Ren shakes his head. These blades have been around forever, popping up in global bazaars without breaking a sweat. Heavy usage historically meant heavy casualties. The real catch? Botch the sink and you're out cold mid-fight. Even if the blade spares you, the drain makes rookies easy targets for tactical foes. Ren nods, hence the academy-only rule. It's a controlled sandbox to safely route your life force into standard gear, harvesting demonic perks minus the fatal glitch. Master the drill and solo practice unlocks. Just avoid tanking your stamina or skipping lectures from passing out mid-street. Class dismissed. Gray lingers on the dirt, realizing this mirrors his own power. Insane output but totally useless without control. Even with progress, full throttle always demands a medic nearby. That's not sustainable. Definitely not viable for actual combat. He needs a solo carry build. He needs raw stats to tank the backlash, and suddenly the Academy feels like a total W could emerge this life force sync with his own power. How far would that combo go? Days blur into brutal reps. Gray's still not cleaving it clean, but he's cracked a rhythm. Swing, 3-minute cooldown, repeat. The grind is clearly paying off. Time to test standard steel. But the observer halts him. Ariel specifically requested to witness his breakthrough. Gray assumes she's swamped, but the assistant drops. She wiped her calendar, fully convinced he'd nail it today. Plot twist, Ariel arrives with a hooded healer just in case things go sideways. No more questions. Gray commits to one final demonic blade run, syncing his life force flow perfectly. Abstract? Maybe, but his focused glare hooks Ariel. She watches him draw standard steel, concentrating so hard blue energy visibly spills from his core, coating his frame and flooding his arm. He's crushing it until his own physiology glitches out. Dark energy floods his veins, proving his inner power is vital force's exact opposite. Total rejection seems inevitable. Then wild sync. The forces collide autonomously. A sealed voice screams to push harder, siphoning his life force like a demonic blade on steroids. He can't disengage. Ariel sees the meltdown and drops one command: execute it. The assistant doesn't blink, rips Gray's arm clean off. The limb vaporizes instantly from the dark surge, but Ariel saw this coming. Her hooded companion casts high-tier restoration magic, stopping the bleed and regrowing bone, muscle, then skin in seconds. Even Ariel's impressed. The healer shrugs it off, reminding her who unlocked that power originally, then vanishes. Hours later, Gray jolts awake, completely disoriented. Ariel's still there, checking his status. Gray recalls his arm going feral, drinking his life force like a vacuum. Then the assistant severs it, so he freezes when he feels flesh back on bone. He blanks out after that, but Ariel confirms the timeline. She hands him fruit to stabilize, dropping that she's witnessed this exact loop before. Same backlash hit Army when she tried syncing life force. That's why Ariel monitored Gray. The implication hits hard. The future Sword Saint literally can't root vital energy. Gray presses for details. Ariel drops that Army's arm literally detonated into fragments. No surgical removal needed, but the shock was brutal. She still flinches at using it, which means she's finally cleared to use it now. It took massive grind and planning. They bound her power with contract magic, forcing pure life force training. Slowly, they unspooled the seal until both energies coexisted, eventually routing separately. Gray gets hyped, hoping for a copy-paste fix. Ariel shuts it down instantly. Standard contracts can't cage his abnormal output. They're stuck brainstorming, but nothing's clicking yet. She believes focused training might isolate his life force, but the margin for error is razor-thin. Gray's locked in, ready to lose limbs until it clicks. Ariel counters, he could just drop the route entirely. His stats easily clear second year, but his ambition doesn't cap at survival. Quitting isn't an option. Crazy as it sounds, Ariel agrees. She'll scout a healer and assistant on standby while Gray drills his life force extraction. Warning him the grind will be unhinged, she still backs him. Days later at the training grounds, first years clock out for a break only to freeze. Gray's hammering a steel stake non-stop. Using life force that long without fainting? Sounds like a glitch in the Matrix. The real shock, he's been at it since dawn. They try to rationalize it, but then Gray lands one final strike and drops. Waking up later, he admits his brute force sword drills are failing. Separating life force still feels like a locked door. Just as doubt creeps in, the Liquidator's face flashes, time to lock in, not spiral. He resets, channels focus, and swings again. For the first time, the blade shears clean through steel. The twist, exhausted Gray grabbed a regular sword by accident, yet pulled off the impossible. As the stake crashes down, he stares blankly. Is this a glitch or a breakthrough? Only one way to verify. He strikes again and again. Same result. No cap, he's isolated his life force, bypassing the dark energy completely. But the grind's just starting. He must drill until this move becomes muscle memory, not a flashy technique. Meanwhile, those first years watched it all. They're not just impressed, they're completely baffled. His form clashes with the professor's style, leaving observers guessing genius or disaster. Cut to night, Gray devours dinner as sword mastery rumors go viral. The blonde guy gapes watching him eat like a furnace. Burning life force demands insane calories. That appetite alone signals his grind hit another tier, instantly pulling every eye in the room. Rumia's less hyped on the drills, more on eating freely without weight gain. Their chat gets interrupted when Ariel summons Gray instantly. That's never happened, she usually pings him privately. He braces for bad news, and he's right. She drops a letter, he's been selected for the elite Starseer special training. The notice demands constant readiness, he could be dropped into live combat instantly. Gray asks if it's hype, but Ariel shuts it down, it's real. This program drops top students into death zones with zero backup, forcing survival through raw strength. Past recruits got teleported straight into enemy strongholds, barred from returning until every foe fell. No reinforcements, just pure madness. Only a fraction ever made it back. That's why it vanished for a decade. Ariel's stunned they revived the grind and urges him to decline, especially after everything. This feels off. Gray won't budge. If the school still uses brutal methods, it must work. He asks if it'll forge him stronger and if she thinks he can survive. He'll sit out if death is guaranteed, but step up if there's a shot. Ariel admits survival's likely. Still. Death still haunt the program's legacy. Her tone hits different, she's picturing one specific case. Gray presses and Ariel drops a 400-year-old story. Two divine eye prodigies took this exact path, gifted, promising futures until they didn't. She knew them personally, making Gray quietly question her age. She authorized their departure, expecting survival. Instead, the outcome shattered expectations. One fell, leaving no trace behind. The other survived but lost an arm, never fully healing. For a blade master, that's usually game over. Yet he pushed through, becoming legendary. Ariel still wonders what he'd achieve with both arms intact. That's why she draws a hard line. His talent won't be diminished, not even slightly. Gray gets her fear but sees the flip side. What if this grind forged that warrior? Ariel already weighed that long ago. She shared the tale to dissuade him, and her heavy silence confirms it. Still, Ariel pushes back, warning this program claims countless lives. Joining is as reckless as letting Bradley operate on him. That comparison only makes Gray picture Bella's insane post-surgery power across timelines. If a calculated risk unlocks that tier, he's in. Death would ruin the plan, but before he commits, an assistant interrupts with a central command letter. Academy elites. So high tier that even respected Ariel barely recognizes their faces. She's half convinced they're not human. She tells Gray to wait while she reads. The letter S about him, predicting her attempt to cancel his drills. They drop two paths. One builds solid strength with 0 casualties. The other culls 8 of 10, but the survivors return stronger than the original batch combined. Then a cold question, which path does she pick? Pure formality, they've already decided. He's in. The kicker? Signed by Professor Starseer, matching the program's name. Someone revived this grind specifically for Gray. Ariel can't fathom how they greenlit Central Command or why they're pulling strings so hard for him. In the end. Only escape route, quitting the academy, obviously not happening. Ariel still believes he'd thrive solo, her fear running deep enough to shock her when Gray refuses to fold. His logic is simple. If a basic course kills him, he's doomed anyway. With debate over, Ariel drops her guard, admitting survivors truly become legendary figures. She kept that quiet, hoping one last plea would sway him. Her only prayer, him walking back alive. Gray's reply, straight up, that's the blueprint. Next up for this special trial, Gray, Leonhardt, Leuniel, the second-year ace and bard, third-year's resident underdog. They're ushered into a stark room where a hooded envoy drops the truth. Starseer never does face-to-face meetups. She's his voice, cutting straight to the chase. Their gig, raid a Bloodbrinker's trafficking hub. 0 captives on site means 0 civilian collateral. But remember, these are actual criminals. Mission ends only when every last enemy drops dead. Leuniel clocks this and asks if this isn't real soldier territory. The envoy nods but flips it. That's exactly why they're deployed. They need raw combat XP. Bard jumps in about the 0 supervision rumor. She confirms it. 0 resources, backup, or safety nets. They'll even ditch their defensive collars before stepping in. Bard drops the truth bomb. Third years usually outclass plenty of teachers until Leonhardt reminds everyone Gray already took down 2. Ignoring the tension, the envoy cuts in. 2 hours till deployment. Study every detail. Bard spots their drop zone dead center in enemy territory. That's not just bad, it's glitchy. A base like that needs an anti-teleport barrier. Gray asks how they're supposed to breach it. The envoy explains the base usually runs on a barrier, but her team cracked a chunk from afar. A 10-hour window opens. That's their deadline to wipe the place. But here's the twist: the enemy knows they're coming. Full alert mode, fully prepped for whatever hits next. Bard drops that they need a solid strategy. Leonhardt agrees, asking everyone to flex their abilities so the team knows the meta. Then Bard shuts it down, not needed. He clocks their power levels instantly. Claims Leonhardt would need 2 clones just to maybe pull a win. Leonhardt and Gray? Even. That confidence leaves the trio baffled since Bard's supposed to be third year's bottom feeder. Reading their minds, he dares them to test him anytime. No safety rules, just swing. Leonhardt snaps, lunges from behind, and strikes hard. Bard parries it with one hand. Leonhardt's not a noob. Yet Bard makes him look like a total rookie. One swing of his blade and Leonhardt's airborne across the room. The envoy chuckles and Bard drops a hard truth. The gap between second and third years? Massive. Gray still can't wrap his head around this guy being third year's weakest link. Bard adds a crucial caveat that power scaling only applies to standard life force duels. If Gray taps his special ability, he'd turn him into paste instantly. Everyone knows that power. Bard's impressed by Gray's tournament run but knows that power comes with a heavy cooldown. He warns Gray not to lean on it here. Gray nods, max output means burnout, so they agree it's strictly a last resort. With that locked in, Bard maps out the strategy. 30 minutes to teleportation. Since enemy positions are known, splitting up is the meta play. He assigns each of them a sector based on their style. He leaves the rest unspoken, so Leonhardt clocks why Gray's getting routed to the special designation sector. Bard's shoving him straight into the base's death zone, packed with insanely powerful convicts. Bard admits it's legit. Gray's walking into the lion's den for a reason. If his suspicion holds, there's one convict neither he, Leonhardt, nor Leonhardt can touch. Swing at them, guaranteed wipe. Gray's the only one with a shot. Monstrous strength exists here, the kind who wipes out thousands of soldiers in seconds. Most become heroes, but when that power fuels crime, you get special designation convicts, monsters a student couldn't touch. Bard explains even the weakest in that group outclasses any supervisor. That's exactly why they need Gray's trump card. Someone with a secret weapon to give them at least a shot if things go south. Leonhardt pushes back, arguing numbers should cover the gap. Makes sense until Bard drops the reality check. Against a monster like that, nobody lasts a second. They just trip over themselves and die for nothing. When the stat gap is massive, numbers are useless. Leonhardt notes Gray will be wrecked even if he wins, needing backup. But he's missing one thing. Staying grouped means getting surrounded and wiped instantly. Survival means splitting up. Leonhardt suggests pairs, but Bard shuts it down instantly. He didn't ask for opinions, not about strength. It's about raw experience, and this is the only path to a W. Gray spots too many holes, but with 10 minutes on the clock, arguing is pointless. Best play, stay calm and roll with it. Seeing Gray's cool, Leonhardt finally accepts. Leo still has doubts, but Gray shuts it down, no other choice. Instead, he orders Leo to snag healing potions from medbay and keep them primed for emergencies. He needs a way to stay standing if he taps his ability. Leo agrees, promising delivery even if it costs him. Cut to the hideout. 2 guards mop the floor while discussing their last batch of slaves. The worst part? They don't talk about them like humans. Despite twisted tones, their eyes light up talking about playing with those objects. Fortress noises soon echo nearby. Then one guard loses his head in a single slash, too fast for the other to react before Leonhardt appears behind him, splitting him down the middle. He heard it all. Vile as rumored. The upside, zero need to hold back on this trash. No civilians means full clearance. Bard reminds them they have permission to wipe out anyone inside. Other than that, stick to the plan. Without another word, the operation kicks off. The squad splits up. Gray charges down an enemy-packed hallway. They assume he's solo and threaten him until one thug steps up to handle him. What nobody expected. Gray cuts him clean in half mid-sentence. Insane speed leaves others blind. Gray realizes these thugs are way weaker than anticipated. But as minutes pass and the scum drops like flies, he clocks it. They actually have a shot at winning. Enemies clock the uniformed lunatic and realize the threat level just spiked. A leader screams to scatter. Bard was right, bunching up means getting cooked. Suddenly a soldier lunges from behind, but Gray drives his blade straight through the guy's mouth. Instant skewer. That display screams they need a new strategy, but the horde still thinks swarming him will work. Even with a mage backing them up 10 versus 1, they can't even scratch him. Gray dodges every ether bullet with effortless flicks. The attacks are so basic he walks through them, closes the gap, and rips the guy's chest open. Again, he thinks these clowns are way too weak for a famous syndicate. But the bloodlust in their eyes says otherwise. They actually want him dead. They move like seasoned killers yet remain this fragile. It makes zero sense. Minutes later, most are down. When the next wave arrives, his mistake clicks. He misjudged their level. Even a rookie first year could delete these idiots instantly. So Gray pushes forward at max speed. He thinks he can pull it off. The only real threat is the special designation criminal, still MIA. Eventually, Gray clears everyone but the leader, a coward who immediately tries to negotiate. Gray isn't falling for it, but lets him talk in case he drops useful intel. The guy offers an elite enforcer spot. Gray asks for details, and the guy keeps pitching. He claims it's the top blue drinker's gig, just killing intruders regular members can't handle. Heavy pay, booze, women, whatever he wants. It beats Academy perks, and Gray's already strong enough. But Gray knows it's a scam, so he asks what happens if he says no. Calmly, the guy replies Gray can kill him if he wants, but seriously, don't recommend it. Because then Gray dies too. That elite enforcer hit third year and wrecked most teachers, so his choice is simple, luxury or certain death. Gray calls it an easy question. He picks neither. He's killing this guy and anyone blocking his path. With that, he decapitates him and keeps moving. Walking down the hall, Gray holds onto that warning. The special designation criminal is definitely in the hideout. Good news, the guy said he, not they. Gray knows there's only one. Splitting up was a massive blunder. Sticking together would have been smarter against a single threat. He starts wondering how to regroup. Cut to Bard interrogating a criminal after wiping out everyone else nearby. He only wants one answer, the special designation criminal's name. The guy spills it, Metodo. Meta Bradley, daughter of the teacher Gray killed ages ago. The criminal confirms she's the only one. Bard kills him instantly, expecting exactly this. Right, he already knew there was only one special criminal. He split the team intentionally. Dragging dead weight in a group fight is a massive fail. Each handles their section alone, no saving fallen teammates. Bard never wanted to risk his life protecting Gray or anyone else. Dead teammates, just acceptable collateral. He's not a traitor, just a selfish bastard focused on himself. His only goal is for the special criminal to show up in Gray's zone. Unfortunately, that plan backfires hard. Someone blows up the floor under him. Muru stands there, the exact person he wanted to avoid. She notices he isn't surprised at all. That means everyone who knows she's here has to die. Bard quickly claims he already handled it. He wants to know why she's here when Map said opposite sector. Medu says the maps were right but didn't account for her expecting a surprise attack. She moved randomly to ruin their strategy. Bard's frustrated face proves it worked. She finds that hilarious. Bard does. Medu's a Bradley-created mod, rumored to be top of the magic course. Weakest Grima student versus her. Cruel joke. Sadly, Medu reads him instantly. He isn't that strong, so she fires a wave of pure dark energy that almost swallows him whole. Bard stays calm, swings his sword, and sends out a life force wave that cancels the spell like actual magic. That shocks Manu. She's never seen Grima work like real magic. Bard doesn't waste the opening and charges her, but Medu still has tricks. She spreads a potion, filling the room with dark magenta fog. He can't cancel it with life force. Within seconds, it wraps around him completely, then burns him alive. Just like that, Bard drops to the floor, body fully burned. Medu thinks it's a shame she wasted valuable material, but at least she can use the victim's body to craft more. Season finale. Chapter 52.